welcome into another edition of the Second Half Draft Show. I'm your host, Juice, joined by Headley and Drew. As always, our final live stream, final second half draft show prior to the 2024 NFL Draft, which gets underway in just a couple of days. We have a couple more position groups that we want to go over in terms of Headley and Drew's respective rankings, the top 15 for the edge rushers, as well as the off-ball linebackers, and we'll also work in a two-round mock draft. I believe last Friday we did a two-round mock draft. Headley, did you select for NFC that time?
Yeah,
around?
I was
Okay.
NFC.
Okay, so we'll flip it. We'll do another duel. Drew, your audio's down. It appears that Drew's audio's down. So as Drew builds it, we will continue to fly it. All right. So before we get into the rankings, as Drew works through his technical difficulties, Headley, what you thinking? What you thinking in terms of Thursday night, man? Any surprises? Any twists?
Man, it's the trades. We got to see what the trades say because we've been doing these mock drafts, and a lot of times we don't do trades because you can never anticipate what trades are going to happen. So, but when it's live and the bullets start to fly, teams are going to want to trade up, and that's what I'm really keying my eye on to see what the Vikings, what are they going to do? They have those 2 first-round picks. They're in need of a quarterback. Is trading up for J.J. McCarthy worth it in their eyes to give up that much draft capital? Because I'm thinking the quarterbacks have been going to fly off the board 1, 2, 3. Caleb Williams, Jaden Daniels, Drake May. I think those were the first 3 picks off the board. And then at 4, does Arizona get that sweet deal to move back, get some draft capital? Do they stay still and get their number 1 receiver on their draft board? And then when you get to 5, the Chargers, I think that's another team that could trade down with the Minnesota Vikings. And then you got to think about the New York Giants also. They need a quarterback as well. So do they trade up to 4 or 5 so Minnesota don't get in front of them to get J.J. McCarthy? So I think the draft's going to start probably at J.J. McCarthy to see what team drafts him, who trades up for him. Does he just fall down the draft board? So, it's a lot of interesting things with the quarterbacks. And then as far as the wide receivers go, I'm expecting 3 receivers in the top 10, Rome Odunze, Malik Neighbors, and Marvin Harrison Jr. And then where does Brock Bowers go? I think Brock Bowers is another interesting piece in this draft class because he's one of our top 3 best prospects in the class for us. But the tight end position and, how teams look at it, maybe it's a little devalued. But where does he go? Does he fall down the board? Does somebody trade up for him? So I think he's another guy that we got to keep an eye on in this draft class.
Who slides? Who do you think is the slider? Guys that we are pretty high on in terms of the first round.
I think Olu. I think Olu Fashanu. I think he's a guy that might be sliding. I think Joe Alt will be a top 10 pick, but it wouldn't be surprising if other tackles go ahead of Olu, like Fuaga, Fautanu, J.C. Latham. I wouldn't even be surprised at that right now, but I think he falls a little bit. I think 14 to New Orleans, that might be the spot that he falls to, but he's a top 10 guy for us. So, that'd be a little fall right there. So I think he might fall. And they talking about Jackson Powers Johnson's falling because of the concussions. He's a first round guy for us. But with these concussions that he's had in his career, the medicals, he might fall out of the first round as well.
All right. Drew, you all set?
Yeah, I'm good, bro. I don't know if I didn't hear Headley bring up, this could be just rumors, people just, floating stuff around, but them Falcons might lose that 8th pick overall.
Bro. Oh, man, I don't want to hear that, bro. Come on, bro. Come on, bro.
I saw it. I said, oh, damn.
He said he's not trying to speak that into existence, bro.
Yeah, y'all boys want to lose that pick for Kirk Cousins?
But that'd be it. But
man,
for Kirk Cousins?
It make it worse, man. Yeah, man. It makes it a lot worse if we lose an 8th pick and with the Kirk Cousins, man. I'd be so mad at that, bro. Like, if we just swap picks for the Vikings, 8 and 11, I wouldn't be too mad at that. But if we fall all the way to like a swap with the 23rd pick, and that'll be devastating for us, man, because we need that impact defensive player or that impact wide receiver.
Or Rome Odunze, right?
Exactly.
Yeah, it'll be interesting to see on that one. I wasn't gonna say anything, but you see the shirt that Drew's wearing, so you already know how that goes, how that works.
Yes, sir.
All right, let's get into your off-ball linebacker rankings. We'll start with the linebackers here. As I mentioned, we'll work through the linebacker rankings. Then we'll turn our attention to a mock draft duel, and then we'll end the final live show prior to the NFL draft with your edge rankings. I'm looking forward to those. A lot of volatility in these linebacker rankings. You guys really see it quite differently in terms of this group. I know, Heather, you were working. Both of you actually were working, still grinding film as recently as last night with respect to these linebackers to finalize your rankings here at 15. Headley, you got your guy out of Kentucky here, Trevor Wallace. Drew, you have Tyrese Knight.
Yeah.
And I want to start with you, Drew. Let me start with Drew on this one.
Now, I was going to get in there before because I noticed the linebackers, we have it a lot different. And I know why, for my behalf, I kind of prioritize instincts over athleticism. Sure. And I think a lot of these guys that I have lower, like a Wallace that I'm going to speak about, is going to go higher than some of the guys I have higher. But instinctively, man, that's where I prioritize the linebacker. There's going to be some undrafted guys that I think stick around the league longer than some of these athletic linebackers that's on this list.
Because of their football IQ, because of their ability to consistently be where they're supposed to be and diagnose and so on and so forth. It happens every year. It happens every year. There are guys that go undrafted because they don't necessarily check all the measurable boxes, the athletic testing, and they tend to have better, longer careers. So it's bound to happen again. But before I do go to Drew, since you went in that direction, Hell, I do want to ask both of you, kind of generally speaking, what do you think of this class? Right, I've seen DJ mention that this is a rough year if you're looking for off the ball linebackers. Do you agree with that sentiment? Do you think there's a little bit more upside in this group? What are your thoughts there?
Yeah,
I think it's a down year.
Yeah, and to piggyback off of what Headley was saying, I think there's a lot of guys who can fly around the field, but it's not necessarily guys that are where they're supposed to be, right? So, and coaches may see it as, okay, I think I can fix this guy because he has the speed, he has the strength, he has the physical traits that I want from the position, right? But maybe we can round him out, we can mold that clay, right, to get him to where he's supposed to be. But yeah, it's a down year compared to other years, man.
All right. So let's talk about Tyrese Knight and Trevor Wallace. We'll start with Knight here, Drew, for you. Your 15th ranked linebacker.
If I'm not mistaken, I think he led the league in tackles. I know he was FBS. At the league FBS. Yeah, let me say that correctly. Mm-hmm. The leg led the FBS in tackles. And watching the tape, I'm always looking for a lot of TFLs, tackle for losses. That wasn't necessarily the case with Knight. He's long, he's fast. I think he's strong at the point of attack at times if he can get that leverage going. But I think that in terms of reading his keys and getting downhill and being where he's supposed to be in his gap, he's got some work to do there. But I think if you take away the thinking process of it and just saying, hey, I need you down here, no matter what's happening, this is the spot I need you to be by the end of this play. I think you got a guy who can do a lot of damage. But it has to be an attacking style defense for him to be a winner, right? I think in zone coverage, I actually think he's pretty good in zone coverage. And he seems to follow the quarterback's eyes, seems to take away throws that might have been there that are no longer there. But yeah, that's kind of where I got him at linebacker 15.
All right, Helene, and your thoughts on Trevor Wallace? I'm hearing, the tea leaves suggest day 2 pick. You have him as your 15th ranked linebacker, which would not suggest day 2. It clearly makes your top 15 rankings, but on the lower end here, why is that?
Like I said, man, it's the instincts, the awareness and the recognition. When I was watching him, it was just lacking. And, that's what I was talking about earlier where, it's some guys that is probably going to get drafted way later than him, probably go undrafted. I think Wallace is a day 2 pick because of the traits. I think he's a trait-based guy, 6'1", 237, 4.5 speed. He could fly. He could fly all over the place. Like I say, it's a trait-based projection to me. I don't think he's going to come in right away and, do damage. So, to risk a second-round pick on a guy that's not ready right away, I wouldn't do it as an NFL organization, but I know somebody will. Because like Drew said, just like with Knight, they think they could mold him. They think they could coach him up, get him to be where he needs to be, keep him clean, not have this guy think too much. He's kind of one of those guys that kind of runs and chase, and we don't want him thinking. Also, he gets engulfed a lot at the second level. I think, just because of those those instincts where he's not reading it, he's not diagnosing it. So he kind of gets caught in the trash a little bit. You kind of want him moving forward towards the line of scrimmage. He's a guy that can blitz, get to the quarterback, rush the passer. So he has all of that in spades. It's just the awareness. And when I look for these speed linebackers, also I want them to be able to cover. And I think cover ability, he got his hands on some footballs, but just the instincts in the pass game, I think is lacking as well. So that's why I have him at linebacker 15 on my linebacker list.
All right, Drew. You actually have Wallace as your 14th ranked linebacker. What are your thoughts on him?
Yeah, man, just you don't need him in zone coverage, bro. Don't throw him back there in zone coverage where he got to feel it out, man. Just keep it real simple. Have him in that man coverage. I like him when he comes downhill and he's able to fire his gun, slip through those blocks, get through the trash, and make the tackle. He is a chase the ball or find the ball linebacker, sideline to sideline linebacker. I think we talked about him maybe a month and a half ago. Supposed to be going to the Senior Bowl. And I don't remember him making too many plays there. But over there at Kentucky, again, have him in that man coverage. Don't have him in zone. I think he's out on the island in terms of zone coverage. I think you can get him with some misdirections, some reverses, because he will over pursue or just he kind of sees it and he wants to go get it and not realizing what's actually happening, in terms of reading your keys. But I think Headley was correct in terms of making things real simple for him until he can get it. I think he's a guy who can get it. Just things have to slow down for him.
Gotcha. And at 14th among your linebackers here, Headley, you have Tyron Hopper out of Mizzou.
Yeah, Hopper out of Mizzou. Like I'm saying, I'm not sure where he's getting drafted, if he's getting drafted. But, when I was watching the Darius Robinson tape, number 8, Missouri, he stood out to me. You put on the tape, you see him flashing all the time, making plays. You see him come down on the blitz from the second level, and he has pass rushing chops to get to the quarterback. I like his range from sideline to sideline. And he's aware, very aware. You see him a lot of times get his hands up in the passing lane, just being able to read the quarterback eyes and deflecting passes. He does that well. He deciphers through traffic from the linebacker position. And that's what I'm talking about as a linebacker, man. I think instincts is a really important trait for an off-ball linebacker. And I think Tyron Hopper does it really well. You see him sometimes line up in the A-gap. He does have that looseness to make guys miss, like the guards and centers, and get to the quarterback. And he just has a knack for just timing up plays, getting into the backfield, slithering through the traffic, getting those tackle for losses. And yeah, I like Hopper a lot, man. I'm just not sure where he's going to be drafted, but I like him on tape.
All right, let's keep it going here. Linebacker 13. We'll start with you, Drew. J.D. Bertrand out of Notre Dame.
Oh, man. That ain't who I got linebacker 13, bro, but I'll take
No?
it. No, it's fine. It's fine.
No, that's what I see. That's what I see on your list. Yeah. I'm looking at it right now. Yeah.
You know what? I'm fine with it, but I just want to put a caveat. I would probably swap the two middle linebackers. I would probably swap the two Notre Dame linebackers. All right. So just let me have this one. But J.D. Bertrand, he was at the Senior Bowl along with his partner in crime. And J.D. Bertrand to me he kind of reminds me of the old school linebacker, right? That stack and shed, get downhill, make contact, clear the guard, the center, the tackle, and make the tackle. I like him when he's coming downhill, like him in that A-gap fill-in. I think he's a solid blitzer. I think he has really good instincts, especially in zone coverage. I think he gets back. He kind of knows where he's supposed to be, take away anything that the quarterback's looking to do, that short to intermediate game. And I think he can cover some running backs out in the backfield. But, yeah, I wish I had him higher, man.
But he ended up at 13.
Yeah, I mean.
It happens. It happens. Darius Masao. Now, I'm not sure if I'm pronouncing that last name correctly. If somebody can help me out with the phonetics, I'd appreciate it. But the off-ball linebacker here out of UCLA, Headley.
Yeah, I was impressed with the tape. I didn't know what to expect when I first came and watched him. And, I came away impressed. He's one of these guys. He ran a 4.7 at the combine. So He's not fast. Might go undrafted, but for some reason, I think he's going to end up on an NFL team. He's kind of that old school thumping linebacker. I think Sam Mills, London Fletcher, he's a little taller than those guys, but he plays like he's 5'10", 240. You know, he measured at 6 foot 225, but just how he plays, man, he's got that wrecking ball nature. Like he's going to go through a wall in order to get to the ball carrier. He showcased physicality through blocks. But sideline to sideline, he just doesn't have the juice. The lack of speed can't really get there. So that's kind of his downfall. But he's built like a tank on blitzes against running backs. Running backs, they don't want to get in front of him because he's going to run right through those running backs. He's a big hit and downhill player, pass coverage, and going sideline to sideline. That's probably what's going to hurt his draft stock. He's one of those two down linebackers, but he does a really good job at those two downs, playing the run. Very instinctive. And aware at the second level. You know, instincts, recognition, and physicality. Those are the three words I would describe Musal. And like I say, he fights through the trash. He's a bully. He's a bully out there, and he's going to play until the whistle, man. Sign me up for this guy on my football team. If I had to pick a linebacker, like I want this guy on my football team, it'll be Darius Musal from UCLA.
You just going to play 2 downs, eh?
That's it, man. That's all you need. You got Jalen Fords out there or whoever.
We're doing off-ball linebacker by committee out here, man. Yeah, play guys to their strengths. Play them to their strengths.
It's New England style, baby.
Yeah, man. Linebacker 12 here. We'll start with you again, Headley. Bookie Watson, Nathaniel Watson out of Mississippi State.
Yeah, this is your guy, right, Drew? Bookie Watson. We saw him at the Senior Bowl. Mississippi State. This is another guy, very instinctive, especially in the run game. You know, he could get to the sideline. I think the pass coverage, that's probably what's going to need some work. But if you turn on the Senior Bowl tape, the 11-on-11s, he was probably one of the most impressive linebackers out there that week. You know, the tape wasn't really what I expected. He had some tight hips, and he didn't pursue the ball like I thought and I saw at the Senior Bowl. But you know, the Senior Bowl kind of swayed my mind on Bookie Watson a little bit. He has a requisite physicality. He could be another guy that's more of a two-down guy because of his lack of pass coverage, and the hips are a little tight in pass coverage. But if you put him out there on third down, I think he could be used as a blitzer from the second level. Good size, top-end production. Had a lot of tackles there at Mississippi State. 31 tackles for losses and 21 sacks since 2021. A lot of those tackles wasn't really solo tackles I have here in my notes. It was more gang tackles for Bookie Watson. But he plays with really good patience, and he seems to always be under control at that second level. So he's an intriguing prospect. I like him and Musa as more of my two-down linebackers.
All right, so I'm going to give this a shot. I think I have the pronunciation guide on Drew's 12th ranked linebacker here. We have Ed Ufuan Ulufosio.
Edifon
Ulufosio. Good job there, Drew. Proud of you.
Bro, that took me once I said it. I saw it, I actually read the name, and I said, oh, that's easy. It's easy until you hear it and you're like, wait a minute, that ain't what I read, though. That ain't
Edifon Ulufosio. Yep.
So I saw a stat, and I wasn't aware of this. I saw a stat. Don't kill me on the stat, but I'm gonna try it. I don't know if it was from PFF. I don't know whoever it was. Probably from PFF on Twitter. He was one of the best coverage linebackers in the country.
Nice.
Hey, I will take that. But this dude, listen, he just figures out a way to get through blocks, get by blocks. He's not necessarily a stack and shed guy. I mean, he will take guys on. He's going to try to beat guys. Oh, yeah, I'll be trying. He doesn't. He knows that, hey, I'm a smaller guy, so I'm not necessarily going to be able to take on this guard, this center, this tackle, whoever it is. So I'm going to try to beat them to the punch. I'm going to try to use that quick to power, that speed to power, to kind of take them on and shed them as fast as possible. If I can't do that, then I'm going to sidestep them. I'm going to slide step them. I'm going to do whatever I can to get by this guy so I can either make the play or I can affect the play. Yeah, and see, there you go. Sadly, injury prone, right? But he is a solid linebacker. When he sees it, he goes and gets it. There's no second thought. I think he has really good instincts both in the pass and the run game, sideline to sideline player. Whoever gets him, he's probably going to end up, due to them injuries, he might end up like early day 3, I think. But whoever's going to get him, as long as he can stay healthy, bro, he's going to be a playmaker for whoever gets him, bro. Consistently, I think he's a what's that fantasy league with the defensive players, IDP.
IDP, yeah.
Yeah, I think that's an IDP guy right there, man.
All right, put a pin in it. At your 11th ranked linebacker here, Hadley actually spoke about Tyron Hopper earlier. Drew, why don't you give us your thoughts on him?
Yeah, that brother. I don't want to say this. Start off with no Diddy. I have to do it, bro. Like as you want to say the words, you gotta, you know what I'm saying? You know,
Yeah.
I gotta make sure I clean it up, right? But the let me hold on. Let me start in a different spot, man. He reminds me a lot of a Mike Zimmer linebacker that you wanna stick in the A gap and you want him to just fire off. Because he's going to bring that requisite physicality that you want at that position on the field when he's coming downhill. I think he's a good, excellent blitzer. I think he times his blitzes up well. I think he has the patience and the pace to do that consistently to be effective from that area of the football field. I think he does drop back into coverage. Another guy who can drop back, fill out where the quarterback's going, fill out what's going behind him, whether it be tight ends, or slot receivers, or even guys that are out on the boundary working their way inside who can kind of feel and see what's going on there. I think in terms of the run game, I think he can give you that old school feel that you want from the position in terms of coming downhill, making contact with, and then shedding guys. Or if he's kind of being handled, he can at least affect the play enough to turn guys back inside, or at least be a part of the tackle. But the fact that he can play downhill in terms of that pass rush game, I think he's going to be a 3-down linebacker. And I think he's a guy, if you're going to use him to his optimal ability, I think he's a guy you're going to have to blitz him, man. He's not a guy to sit back and just, be that 2-down backer. You get his full gambit of arsenal. You gotta use him in a myriad of ways, man.
All right. And coaching matters, right? How you deploy these players is absolutely going to be essential to their success at the next level. Hadley, you got Steel Chambers checking in as your 11th ranked linebacker.
Yeah, the other Ohio State linebacker next to Tommy Eichenberg. Eichenberg was more the guy in between the tackles, the run game, but Steel Chambers is more the athletic guy. I like him in pass coverage. That's why I got him this high on my board, because of what he does in pass coverage. Good cover ability in zone. He could read the route concepts really well. Keys in on the quarterback eyes. He could pass off routes to the guy down the field. So I think instinctively in the pass game, I think that's where he wins. In the run game, also, he could decipher and close to the ball carrier. Has the speed and athleticism to chase things down. We saw that at the combine in those drills, and with his scores, his athletic scores, I thought it was pretty well at the combine. So it does have the speed and athleticism. The athletic traits at the combine, triggers downhill quickly at the second level. He could blitz, he could close really quickly, and he's a very instinctive, high IQ player in the passing game. Like I mentioned earlier, he shoot the gaps in the run game, but he can't get engulfed though. If he doesn't win early in the run game, blockers, those offensive linemen that get to the second level could kind of push him backwards. So he kind of have to win early with his instincts and his speed to kind of get there. But he's a smooth, fluid mover, gets good depth in the passing game, and he can trigger downhill really quickly. So, I like him in the new passing league. I want a linebacker also that could get in the passing lanes and play zone or man. So I think he does that really well. So Steel Chambers, linebacker 11.
All right, moving on to your 10th ranked off-ball linebacker here. You have Michael Barrett out of Michigan, and Drew, you have Maris Lulfau out of Notre Dame. I'll start with you, Hadley.
Michael Barrett, man, where he's excellent is second level blitzer. Really good timing on those blitzes. He'll fight running backs. He'll beat running backs to the quarterback. Deciphers really well through traffic, getting to the ball carrier. But I think he has to be more quicker, play with more urgency in the run game. He's instinctive, but improving in a run game. He kind of sits at the second level a little too long. Like he does a little too much thinking sometimes, where I just want to just fire his gun and trigger downhill and get there. Kind of want to see that more on tape. He kind of has to find a hole and explode to the ball carrier. I think in the pass coverage, his ability to play in short zone on passing downs due to his eyes. He kind of has a good feel for the passing game as well. But he has another guy that has to, kept clean because he can get engulfed at the second level. He's not the biggest or fastest, but he plays pretty good instincts in the passing game and can get after it as a second level blitzer. So, it's just like Steel Chambers, I think this guy, Michael Barrett, really does his work in the passing game, whether as a blitzer or in pass coverage. He has good spacing in the passing game. He does well in tight quarters in the run game. He's a good tackler. He gets there. He's a 6-year player. And to me, he just kept on getting better and better at Michigan. Kind of got forgotten about. Got Junior Colson next to him, which we have higher on this list. And all those guys in the front 7 at Michigan and the back 4. He kind of is a forgotten about guy.
We get lost in the sauce a bit. Yep.
Definitely, man. But I think he could come in right away and be a special team star. I think that's why he might go day 3 to a team to say, hey, we need a special teams ace. I think Michael Barrett could be that ace. And then he could come in on pass downs and play the pass or blitz the quarterback. So he has versatility to be a special team guy as well.
All right. Drew, your thoughts on Luafau out of Notre Dame?
Yeah, Luafau, watching him on tape, they used him in a couple of different ways. So he just wasn't playing the middle linebacker. He kind of worked off the edge. I think he can do that because of his burst and his speed that he can come off the edge with. I think he has nice hands when he makes contact to keep the offensive lineman off him when he's doing that. In terms of him playing the linebacker position, in terms of being in the middle there, I think that when he sees it, he does go and gets it. I think he can kind of do the thing that let me get his name right. Ulafosio does in terms of kind of sliding and getting through blocks. Not a guy that you're going to see stack and shed consistently over and over, but a guy who's going to kind of position himself to kind of either avoid the block or not necessarily take on the block as a whole, so he can actually make the tackle. I will say that he's not a guy that's going to square a guy up in a hole, right? He's gonna get an arm on that guy, he's gonna get a shoulder on that guy, and then he's gonna kind of turn to the side. So if it's 3rd and 1, right, and it's him and the running back in the hole, it's probably gonna be a first down, bro. It's probably gonna be the boy probably gonna get 2 yards, bro. It's gonna be a first down. You're probably not gonna like it, But if he's running towards the sideline and it's 3rd and 1, right, now that he may make that tackle, right, using the out of bounds as an extra defender or just being able to drag the guy down at an angle. In terms of his pass coverage, I think he's actually he might be one of the better linebackers in terms of pass coverage, whether it be man coverage or it be zone coverage, because he really can feel what's going on around him. He does get hands on, receivers, running backs, whomever it is that he's covering to slow those guys down. So I think there he may have that in spades in some of the linebackers in the draft.
All right. These two strike me as obviously they have their strengths, right? And in this particular league, the way the league is currently being, ran, as far as it being a pass-first league, they certainly have differing but useful skill sets, right? You mentioned with Barrett his ability to affect the passer as a pass rusher, blitzing, right? And then of course what he does in the special team side of things. And then Luafau, his coverage, his ability in space certainly plays at the next level. So guys that may not necessarily be every down players out the gate, but certainly can make plays on special teams and help one way or the other in defending the pass. So that's 15. That's 10 through 15 right there. Let's move into linebacker number 9 here. And Drew, you started off. Bookie Watson, that's your guy, right? You stamped him. You stamped him coming out of the Senior Bowl. Give me your thoughts on him.
Yeah, so real quick, I did stamp him, and you got to give me kudos because I was talking about him when we was doing the putting the one-on-ones together. I was like, no. It wasn't. I don't know if it was the one-on-ones. I was watching whatever it was.
It may not have been the one-on-ones, but this is before the Senior Bowl had come to a conclusion and they had announced, the best player at each position and everything.
I think it was that Friday. Matter of fact, where they were doing that. And before they had announced him, I was watching the tape. I was watching him and Tyler Davis. And I was like, yo, this Boogie Watson's all over the place, bro. He's making plays and I don't think he's a stack and shed guy. I think he's a guy who just sees it, beats his guy to the spot, and he makes the play consistently. And then you go back and you look at his numbers, and I think last year him and his partner in crime, which I can't think of his name, and I don't think he's coming out this year. I'm pretty sure he's not. The boys led the league in tackles the previous year. right? So you had Tyrese Nice, who did it this past year, and then you had Bookie Watson, who did it last year with his partner in crime. He is more of that kind of drag down linebacker versus that stack and shed, stop you for that 1 yard gain or no yard gain. He is. I think he can be a playmaker. I think he can be an excellent. Or I think he can. He is an excellent blitzer. Good timing with the blitzes. Headley talked about him in terms of pass coverage. I think that's kind of a wart of his that he's. I don't necessarily think he's a 2-down linebacker. In terms of that, I don't think it's that bad. But that is a concern in terms of his pass coverage, especially I think in zone coverage. I think in man, it makes it just a little bit easier. Don't have to think about where you're supposed to be, what you're looking at, just cover your guy. But in terms of zone coverage, I think that's where you may be able to catch him off guard because he ain't seeing it too well there. But in terms of anything in front of him, he gonna get to the ball, man.
He's gonna get there. He'll get to the ball. All right. Jordan McGee out of Temple, Headley.
Yeah, he's the probably the most intriguing linebacker in this class. 6'1", 228, a little bit undersized, but he has that 4.5 speed, man. He's the RAS guy, man, the athletic guy, man. He could get all over the football field, and they use him in a lot of different alignments at Temple. You see him in the box. I seen him rush off the edge. Sometimes he'll kind of line up as a slot guy. So he's very versatile, and they use him a lot. And what's impressive about Jordan McGee is how well he communicates with his teammate. He's one of those green dot kind of guys where he gets the calls in. He can line everybody up.
You see the C right here on the right shoulder. Yeah.
See, he got the C. He's the captain of the football team, man. Very smart, very instinctive. I like his recognition in the passing game, dropping into zone. I think he could be a little quicker with it. He's a little delayed a little bit, but then he recognizes it. So it's kind of weird where he's not as aware, but he recognized it a half second too late. I think at the next level, just watching more tape with him and kind of making him see it a lot quicker. I think he'll be pretty decent in pass coverage. But his ability to trigger downhill, deciphering through trash, I also think that can improve as well. He operates better when things are clean. He sees it, and that trigger. He has a very quick trigger to get downhill and get to the ball carrier. Smart and instinctive in the run game. Coming on a blitz, whenever planned or delayed, he kind of explodes to the quarterback. He uses that 4.5 speed. He got that closing ability, man. He could get there really, really fast. I think initially probably a special teamer, but I think he could develop into a nice linebacker at the second level. There's a little fine tuning, and year 2, year 3, I think he could be a starter at the next level.
All right, that's Jordan McGee out of Temple. As you can tell, obviously, Drew and Headley have very different opinions on this crop of linebackers. You can tell by the rankings. You can see it by certain omissions. So as we move on to your 8th ranked linebacker.
Now, hold on, omissions, bro?
Yeah, there's omissions. There's omissions. Drew, Headley, you're higher on J.D. Bertrand than Drew was, right? You're certainly higher on J.D. Bertrand. I believe Drew had him at 13. You have him at 8, so 5 spots higher.
Hold on. Pause.
Okay, so we
adjusted.
He was
supposed to be at 10, bro.
Okay, so not as pronounced a gap there.
Yeah.
But Drew, you actually have Curtis Jacobs as your 8th ranked linebacker here, and Headley does not have him in his top 15. So Headley, let's start with J.D. Bertrand to finish the conversation around him, and then Drew, tell us about Curtis Jacobs.
Yeah. Well, Jacobs, I was trying to get him in so bad. Him and the guy for Washington, I was trying to get both of them in. But it's just some guys I just have a better feel for that I like more. And J2 Bertrand is one of these guys. At the Senior Bowl, I thought he did an excellent job, especially in the box, man. He just kind of reads things really well. Very smart, very instinctive linebacker. He makes short tackles. I know Drew talked about Lufau earlier, where Lufau, sometimes you're not sure if he's going to make the tackle. But J2 Bertrand, he makes pretty much every single tackle that he gets his hands on. He'll run through a wall on the way to the ball carrier. He'll sacrifice his body. I like that about him. He's not afraid of contact. He's looking to bang guys. He's aware in pass coverage when he gets into his optimal position. So he just has to be in his position, and I think he's okay in pass coverage. But running with the back to the football in pass coverage, I think that's where he struggles. He doesn't really turn his head. So you don't really want him in man coverage in the passing game. He's more of a zone guy. You see him stack and shed guys at the second level, which is always welcomed as a linebacker. Not many guys are stacking and shedding anymore. I think Bertrand does that really well. I think speed and over athleticism might be a concern. I'm not sure the combine numbers. I wrote these notes before the combine, so maybe he checked that box afterwards. But to me, he's a tackling machine in the box, and he always has a radar for the ball carrier. Like it's like he knows exactly where the ball carrier is. So I think that's more to his instinctiveness and his tape study, man. Really good second level linebacker, JT Bertrand.
Yeah, bro. Curtis Jacobs. What's that? That's two last names, isn't it? No, not necessarily. Curtis could be a first name. My bad.
McClendon Curtis.
Right. No. Curtis Jacobs, he I know he blew up the combine. I think he blew up his pro day. You can see it on tape. I don't think that's a guy you can miss because he's all over the place, sideline to sideline. And I wanted to put him higher, but I just couldn't because he's so fast, bro. Like he's like lightning in a bottle, and I think someone's gonna have to hone that in. Gonna have to hone that in to bring him back, to dial it back. And a couple of these guys, I think I would rather a guy go too fast than not go fast enough because I can always pull it back and
reel that back in.
Reel it back in as he sees it, as he watches the tape, as he watches himself overrun it. He can say, "Okay, I know what I need to do there." Right? And I think he did that a lot. I think to get the best out of him early, he needs to be in an attacking style defense where he doesn't necessarily have to think too much. Not that that's an issue for him. I just think that if you want to see his physical traits, his speed, his RAS, they call it, is it RAS? Is that what it's called? I'm just calling it RAS. Sparky, if you want to see that early and often, I think you want to put him in that style of defense. I don't want him sitting back in a passive style defense because I think you're taking away his superpower in terms of what he can do for you. When he's got them long arms, so he's usually always able to make contact with whomever he's going against first before they ever realize what's happening. I think he has heavy hands. I think he kind of throws offensive linemen off balance at times because of those hands. I think he needs a little bit more work in terms of shedding that block a little bit quicker than normal. I mean, you got the arms extended. You're kind of in position to make the play, but you don't necessarily get off of that block in time like we want consistently enough. I think in pass coverage, man coverage, I think he's fine. I think in zone coverage, maybe that's where he may need some work in terms of kind of figure out what's going on behind him, beside him. But when he sees ball, he gets ball. And I think I'm betting on this is probably the one player in terms of these linebackers. Let me take a quick peek. Yeah, that I'm betting on the traits because there's a lot there to go with and go on.
All right, fair enough. You imagine that he would get pushed up a board a little bit because of that athletic profile, right? As compared to some of these guys who don't necessarily test quite as well, but maybe a little bit more instinctive. So, but as you both mentioned at the top, it's predominantly, sparky guys who are actually lacking in the awareness and instinctive parts of the game. So interesting crop of linebackers here thus far at linebacker 7. Headley, you stay with Notre Dame here. You have Marius Leofau. And Drew, you have Tommy Eichenberg checking in as your 7th ranked linebacker. We'll start with Leofau here. Headley.
Yeah, Leofau. I got him right next to JT Bertrand on my rankings, and he's more the twitchy linebacker compared to Bertrand. Bertrand is kind of in the box guy, tackling machine. Leofau is more, they line him up everywhere. You see him on the edge. They send him or back him up in zone. He can be a quarterback spy against mobile quarterbacks. He has the ability to blitz from the second level effectively. Kind of beats guards with hand usage. Deciphering to the quarterback. That's a trait that a lot of teams would like about Leofau is his ability to win as a pass rusher with his hands. He does that well. Like I said, he had versatility to play all over the field. I even saw him play a little bit in the boundary at Notre Dame. So he's a moving chess piece on your defense. He has the quicks and the closing ability to chase down ball carriers towards the sideline. Like I said, a lot of athleticism, a lot of speed with Leofau. He has a good feel to hunt the quarterback as a spy. And I think the two top things, which is Leofau's superpower, is his movement ability and his hunting nature. He really hunts guys down, closes quickly, gets them on the ground. He's better attacking and moving forward. When he has to read and react, I think that's where he kind of struggles a little bit. It's a little bit delayed with his awareness. And like Drew said, sometimes he doesn't always make the tackle. I think he kind of relishes big hits, though, man. I think that's what he needs to work on. Like, it's not always about trying to hit somebody out of the screen, man. It's more about, wrapping up, breaking down, and just making a tackle when you got to make the tackle, especially those 3rd-and-1s, 3rd-and-2s. We don't want the running back breaking for extra yardage, so you just got to be safer. You can't hit stick at someone every single time. So, but I love his athletic traits and I love his ability to blitz. So that's why I have him here at linebacker 7.
Unless, of course, you're Denzel Perriman, and that's the only way you know how to tackle. The only way you know how to tackle is the hit stick. There are no normal tackles. All right, let's talk about exactly. The smaller guy who can only hit stick. Tommy Eichenberg, Drew.
Yeah, this is a guy I can't. He's not the most athletic. Let me look at my linebackers, bro. He might be the least athletic out of all these guys on the list. Yeah, he's probably the least athletic. But when we talk about the linebacker position, I couldn't move this. First of all, I couldn't move this guy out of my top 10. It's just unacceptable. Can't. I hope he's in there, bro. Hope he's in there somewhere. All right. Okay. Just making sure, checking the box. Because when you talk about what you want from the linebacker position, just throw all the traits and all that sexy and all that Raz stuff. When you talk about instincts and being where you're supposed to be and being a coach's dream in terms of, I don't have to tell you twice, right, about what it is that we're trying to do and what you're responsible for. That's the guy that I want. Especially in the middle of that defense, you see all them what them things? They're not stars. I don't know what you call them things on his helmet.
Decals.
But all them stickers, decals, all them decals on his helmet speaks to the accomplishments and the things that he's done, and he's Mr. Consistent, right? So as long as I'm putting him in a position to do what I need done, he's going to do it, right? He's not the fastest, not the strongest, not the quickest, but for whatever reason, he does his job as he's supposed to. Whether it be the stack and shed, he has that. He's more of an old school 2-down linebacker. But I don't know that I'm taking him off the field on 3rd downs unless he's got to cover Tyreek Hill, man. Outside of that, I think you got to leave him on the field because he's a general to me, man. He's lining people up, getting people in the best position, and he's where he's supposed to be, man. And he's consistent every week. So I can't take him off the field, man. And I wish I could have made him a little higher. Maybe I should have, but I had to lock him in my top 10.
He's one of those guys who's going to get on the field sooner than later because of that, right? Again, probably his draft stock is depressed a little bit because he doesn't necessarily check all those athletic boxes, but because of the nature of his play and the fact that coaches will trust him, they'll probably get him soon before some of these other guys here. We'll stay right here with Tommy Eichenberg as we move on to your 6th-ranked linebackers. Headley. It's your guy, bro. You were really the first one who was like, listen, man, Eichenberg is like a fringe top 100 guy.
Yeah, I really like Eichenberg on tape. Like Drew said, just, some people might peg him as a 2-down guy, but I wouldn't do it either, Drew, because just how instinctive he is. He's another one of these green dot guys where, communicates really well, very smart football player. And it's so refreshing to watch a linebacker stack and shed, like I said earlier. It's a lost art, man. And, Eichenberg does it really well. I think he does it so well that he could one day be one of the top tacklers in the NFL at the next level, man, because he just knows how to get ball carriers down on the floor. He's not a big hitter per se, but he's one of those guys that's going to wrap up, tackle a guy, and get him on the ground, man. He has a nose for the ball carrier. He fills runs lanes really well and makes a tackle. In pass coverage, he's not a guy that's going to be a man-to-man beast, but he's very fluid in the short zone, drop back in coverage. He's very aware. There's really no wasted movements with him in pass coverage. He is where he needs to be at all times. So that's why I wouldn't really take him off the field on 3rd downs. Sometimes I think, the weaknesses are a little too aggressive sometimes. I think misdirections can be taken out of the play a little bit. I also think he could get a little stronger. He makes the tackles, but it's kind of like the running back gets maybe like an extra yard because he's not a hit you and go back type of linebacker. He's more wrap up and tackle him and get him to the ground. So yeah, he's not a striker. So maybe getting a little stronger, I think. But I really like his patience and his eyes. As a linebacker, like we spoke about earlier, about the instinct in your eyes and knowing where to be. If you're not 4 or 5 speed like some of these other linebackers, if you have the instincts and know where to be before the play actually develops, you don't really need that 4.5 speed. You could live off of that 4.6, 4.7 speed at the linebacker position. I said the 40 time would tell a lot about a draft position, but he didn't have a 40 time. He was smart. He's like, I'm not going to show y'all my 40 time. I don't know what he did his pro day. He didn't run the 40 at the combine. So the pro day, it'd be interesting to see what he ran. But anticipation, quickness, and angles, like I said, make him a lot faster on the field than he is actually, doing a 40-yard dash. So it's more football speed with Eichenberg. I love him, man. I think he's a machine, and I think he's going to be a really good second-level linebacker at the next level.
All right, Drew, Cedric Gray out of UNC.
Yes, Cedric Gray. I think if you watch the 2022 tape, you be like, Drew, how's this guy in your top 15 linebackers, right? Because in that defense, there was a lot of sit back, watch things happen, react to those things. It was kind of, passive, if you will. And at the Senior Bowl, I, had a conversation with him and say, hey, listen, man, I watch a lot of tape. Sometimes I'm wrong, but I need you to let me know in 2022, y'all was out there looking a little passive, kind of thinking through it and then making moves based off of what was happening in front of you versus this year. Y'all boys was getting downhill, filling that A gap, blitzing. Everything was aggressive. Go, go, go. Sideline to sideline. He looked at me, said, yo, you're right. He's like, we changed coaches. That was the number one thing that we wanted to do this past year was to play fast. We wanted to see ball, go hit ball, or go get ball. And that's what we did. And that's what they did. And you saw that immediately in the first game of the season. I think it was versus South Carolina, man. It just looked different. And as long as he's in that type of defense, I think you got a star in your hands, man. I think you got a playmaker. I think you got a guy who is going to light up the stat sheets, man. But if you're asking him to play back and play passive, I think again, we talk about a couple of these guys. You take away their superpower when you do that, and I think he's one of those guys, man. Not that he can't do it because he's been in that defense. It's just that you won't see his athletic ability, that Raz, that Sparky that he has, and you're doing him a disservice.
You're not seeing a top 5-ish linebacker in the class.
Oh no! He's falling off. And listen, you can't do that every play. It can't be an attacking style defense every single play. But the defense has to be built around that for him to succeed on a consistent level. So, and watching the 2023 tape, I think I can't see a team drafting him and doing what they did in 2022 and saying we can fix him, because that's not it, bro. Like him waiting for guards and tackles to come at him before he can go at them. I mean, no, you know what I'm saying? He's going to get engulfed. Right. He's going to get ate up. That's not what it is, man.
All right. Move into your top 5 off-ball linebackers here. And Headley, you actually have Cedric Gray as your 5th ranked linebacker in the 2024 NFL draft.
Yeah, Drew hit it spot on. You want Cedric Gray in that attacking, downhill kind of defense. You don't want him sitting back and waiting. Because in 2022 and 2023 tape was a lot different. With Cedric Gray, in 2022, you saw him, the pass game awareness, it really needed to improve. He kind of fell for the bait a lot. His eyes wasn't in the right place in the passing game. He got beat deep. If you match up a running back, if the offensive coordinator, creative guy wants to match up a running back and bring Cedric Gray, he could really be taking advantage there. So that's where he needs to improve the most, man, because, you're going to be one of those 2-down linebackers if, your pass game is not up to par. But I thought he improved a little bit in 2023 in the pass game, especially the zone, dropping back in coverage, reading the quarterback eyes, getting his hands on the football. You saw that on tape as well. It's just man-to-man coverage, facing against running backs. You don't want Cedric Gray there. But he has really good awareness in the run game. I think his stack and shed can improve a little bit. What he does, though, is find his way to the football downhill. He kind of fights through blocks and makes a play on the ball carrier, even while being blocked. So I think if he improves that stack and shed, I think he could be one of the best run defenders in this class. Just want to see him use his hands a little better when engaging in the block instead of going there with his shoulder first. Like I said, he could be taking advantage in the pass game, but as a blitzer from the second level, his intensity and grit, you saw it in that first game, like Drew said, against South Carolina, where they were just sending him. And like I said, running backs, they don't want to step in front of Cedric Gray, man, because they're going to put him on his ass, and he's going to get to the quarterback. He brings his pads. He fills with power. He's the kind of player you hear the hit on the broadcast. Once he puts pads to guys, you'll hear his hit in the stands. You saw him take on a block and deliver a big hit in the game while he was engaged. So very physical, very tough run defender. I thought, pass coverage and zone improved in 23. It's just the man coverage in the passing game. That's where he needs to improve upon. But, I like Cedric Gray, man. You get him in the right defense and that right scheme where he's attacking, I think he can be a very good linebacker at the next level.
Oh, you waiting on me?
Junior Colson.
Junior Colson. So this is a guy who some people have as linebacker 1. I don't know if Headley has him as linebacker 1, and I didn't see linebacker 1 tape, but I understand what people like about Junior Colson in terms of the pass game. I think he reads his keys very well. I think he can do some man coverage things. I think Barrett probably is the better player there. But in terms of the run game and getting downhill, if he sees it, it's over. And I think that's where people maybe are falling in love with him, because he's going to get downhill, he's going to get by the block or beat the block, and he's going to make the play. There is no ifs, ands, and buts about it. But my issue with him is if he doesn't see it, he looks a little. I'm not sure I'm seeing it quite, and he's usually about a half a second too slow, and then that's when the guard or tackle's on top of him, or in some cases a fullback is on top of him, and there's a little bit of he can get off the block, but it's usually, I like to call it the Barrett Rude. It's kind of, it ain't that bad, bro. It ain't that bad, but he can get off the block and then make the tackle, 2-3 yards down the field. But had he initially saw it, that play stopped for a TFL or it's no gain type of thing. So when we're talking about him being a number 1 linebacker, that's where I struggle to put him in the top 3, at least in terms of seeing it much quicker. Because again, I mean, he had a good defensive line in front of him, but there were times I'm like, just go, it's right, and he just didn't fire his gun because he just didn't see it for whatever reason. So I think maybe playing more linebacker, maybe you can turn that over into him finally being able to fire his gun more consistently, becoming that number 1, number 2, and number 3 linebacker that people seem to tag him with.
I think, obviously playing in a very good defense has something to do with the feel for him. It's also the frame. I think it's the frame as well. The physical stature. He's unlike the rest of the linebackers in this class in terms of you have the frame in order to carry some additional weight and be a true middle linebacker, a Mike. You know what I'm saying? You got guys who are weak side guys, and they could play the Mike, but they may be a little undersized or whatever. Colson, that's what he is. He is an inside linebacker in the 3-4. He's the Mike in an even man front. You know what I mean? So I think that's part of what pushes him up, and the fact that he's been the leading tackler on a very good football team. But you're right. I in my evaluation of him, and I'm harkening back all the way back to summer scouting, I didn't necessarily see a substantial jump from 2022 to 2023 in terms of how quickly he is diagnosing and then making the play, right? Letting his physical tools take over. Very good player, but he doesn't scream to your point. He doesn't scream best linebacker in class. I think that's more of a projection there. All right, let's move on. Y'all ran everybody away. Maybe we had like 30 people in the live, and then everybody gone now. What happened?
Linebackers. They don't want to. They don't want to see the linebackers.
They were here for all of them. They were here for like 40, 50 minutes. All right. We move on to your 4th ranked linebacker here. And Hadley, you have the aforementioned Junior Colson, and Drew, you have Jordan McGee. Now, so I mentioned that Drew and Hadley have very different opinions on these linebackers, at least to this point, perhaps none bigger than the McGee ranking, despite the fact that you both have him in your top 15 rankings. Let's talk about Colson here. Hadley, let me get your thoughts on him, and then we'll let Drew wax about McGee, since he is now a top 4 linebacker in this class as far as Drew is concerned.
Yeah, McGee's intriguing for sure. But Junior Colson, yeah, I see people put him in linebacker 1. People talking him up, but the tape, I didn't come away impressed with the tape. That's why I have him here at linebacker 4, especially in 2022. Like you said, he just they're firing his gun, just getting there quicker. He's a little too patient before exploding. Maybe he's not seeing it well in 2022. But he's a big off the ball linebacker, physical, 6'2", 238. But Michigan took him off the field a lot on those passing down situations, those third and long situations. They took him off the field. So I think pass coverage is something he needs to improve upon, or he might be relegated to more of a 2-down linebacker at the next level. Also, I felt his stack and shed can kind of improve a little bit. When he gets engaged, he doesn't get off blocks quick enough for me. Looks a little stiff when trying to break down or change directions, which allows additional yardage on the football field. To me, he's more like a more straight line guy. He kind of goes sideline to sideline. Once he triggers that gun, he gets there, and he's a big physical guy that can hit. He can fill the hole really well. He just doesn't get to everything, man, and it's because he's a little slow to diagnose, and the speed also. I don't think he's one of these faster linebackers at the second level, but he could take on a block and still make a play due to his power. Very physical, very strong linebacker at the second level, and in pass coverage, you kind of might need to hide him a little bit. I think he could play maybe in a short zone, but the passing game is not really his forte. He's one of these old school blue collar inside linebackers, a 3-4 defense, put him inside. I think that's where he's going to live at the next level. Just bring physicality to a football team. But he's got to get faster triggering his gun. Once he does that, he could be a tackling machine at the next level. But the pass game skills is still a little lacking with him as well. So I have him as linebacker 4. I don't see him as a round 1 or round 2 guy. I think round 3 will be a sweet spot for me. But I wouldn't be surprised if he goes round 2 in the NFL class, because it seems like there's a high for him, and some teams might be enamored with his size.
Yeah, I agree there in that assessment. Jordan McGee, Drew, top 4. I hadn't even heard you say the name. This whole cycle.
Had to do his due diligence.
I did.
That Temple tape was hard to find, bro. I ain't gonna lie. I was searching for his tape.
It was hard, but I found it, bro. And listen, he's like a bullet out of a gun, bro. A fired gun. Just, and he has no, and I guess this might be a bad quality, but he has no regard for the person he's hitting, no regard for his body. I'm not sure about the injury history, assuming that he's injury free. I guess we good to go in terms of that. But him seeing it and going to get it, I think Temple used him in the perfect way that you should use him, in terms of him going downhill, whether it be a blitz, whether it be him understanding what's happening and getting downhill, whether trying to beat that guard, that center, that tackle before they get to him. Because if they do get to him cleanly, we're probably going to have some problems, right? And I think the issue that's attached to that, though, is I don't know that he can add any more
weight to that frame.
Weight to that frame. Yeah. I think that may slow him down and be an issue for him. So maybe that's why people maybe not have him as high as linebacker 4, which I can completely understand. But if you're putting him in a position to be that versatile linebacker that can come off the edge, blitz off the edge, blitz up the A gap, drop back into coverage, specifically, I think in zone coverage, I think you're using him in the proper way that you want to use a linebacker. He's obviously not a true linebacker, a true inside linebacker. I think he's a weak side linebacker for the most part. But I don't know, man. Like when I watch him, man, I kind of get excited, and I think he might be what Kenneth Murray was supposed to be, with more fire in his ass, if you will. Right?
I dig it. I dig it. Do you see any parallels there? That obviously got Kenneth Murray. You see any parallels there?
Yeah, how he triggers and gets downhill and how he hits. I think Kenneth Murray had all that in spades. So yeah, I see parallels with him and Kenneth Murray.
All right. Linebacker number 3. So this is where you guys do actually sync up from 3, 2, and 1. You guys are on the same page here. You actually have Jeremiah Trotter, who who seemingly from a consensus perspective has been pushed down the board, but perhaps the size and again, not necessarily having the wow factor from an athleticism standpoint, but arguably the most instinctive linebacker, if not the most instinctive linebacker in this particular class. Here, I'll start with you, Drew. What are your thoughts on Trotter?
Yeah, you said it in terms of the instincts, bro. And I've said it numerous times. The two positions that you want guys to have instincts is linebacker and safety. Those are the top two positions for me. We can argue about it in the comment section, but I think those are the top two positions that any coach would tell you that they want. I mean, you want instincts at all positions, but if you're building a football team and you say, what are the two positions that you want the most instincts for? I think it's those two positions. And I want a football junkie as there as well. And I think you got that here in Jeremiah Trotter. Obviously, has his dad played, so he's got the football pedigree there. You just watch him on tape, man, and we said this a couple of times already, but he's just where he's supposed to be, bro.
Yep.
Like as a coach, I don't want to have to tell you 400 times that, hey, I need you to be in this particular position, and then give you the why. Like he already knows the why, and he's going to get there and be there, and he's more often than not going to make the play. And I think why he's linebacker 3, I think he's been doing it for a while. One, he's got the football pedigree. And then I think he has a little bit more sparky. And I don't know how he did at the combine between him and Tommy Eichenberg, but I think he has more sparky and can move better than Tommy Eichenberg. So I think that Jeremiah Trotter is whoever drafts him, bro, whatever, if we're playing in a 4-3, 3-4, whatever it is, I think he's going to be the guy, bro. He's going to be the guy with the green dot on his helmet, man.
Yeah, to me, he's gonna be a steal. I think the size concern and the athleticism concern probably gonna have him in day 3. I think 4th round maybe it's where you start to hear his name. Plus the linebacker position as a whole, a little devalued, but the instincts, the bloodlines, the strength, the he's very aware. I love him. I love Jeremiah Trotter, but I think he's gonna be an NFL starter. Like you said, his dad played football also. Jeremiah Trotter Sr. for the Eagles. Very instinctive in the run game, big time hitter. He's a power blitzer from the second level, blow things up. He's not as fast, but I think he closes really well. Some of these linebackers are a lot faster than him, but when you have the instincts and you're reading things and you could get there. You could get there, like I said, man. If he's a 4'6", 4'7" guy, doesn't really bother me too much with Jeremiah Trotter because the tape shows it all that he gets to the ball carrier and he makes tackles. Very determined football player. Got a nose for the football as well. And, I think he's going to be a guy that fills out the stat sheet at the next level. So very consistent football player. And I had to put him ahead of guys like Colston just because of the tape. Colston might have the size. Some other guys might have the speed. But just the overall tape and his football makeup and the character and everything, man, it just speaks wonders with Jeremiah Trotter. And I think he's going to be slept on and he's going to be the sleeper of this class on day 3.
You made mention, both of you spoke about his instincts, which are clearly on display, right? And of course that's kind of the missing piece to a lot of these linebackers here in your top 15 respectively. But you also alluded to it. You mentioned it, Headley. He's physical, bro. The rest of these guys aren't quite as physical as Jeremiah Trotter. There's only a handful in this class as physical or more physical than Jeremiah Trotter, despite the fact that he may be a little undersized, right? We're talking about just tipping the scale at 230, probably played around 228 or so. So, yeah, I think that kind of gets lost in it, right? There's such an emphasis on the athleticism and the traits, and of course, we really like him because of his instinctiveness, but the physicality is there in spades as well. All right, Drew, let's talk about your guy, man. Peyton Wilson, second-ranked linebacker. Let's talk about him.
Yeah, bro. Once he told me he was talking to Luke Kuechly, it was over, bro. Shit, it should be linebacker 1 if we stop playing, bro. Right? No, can't put him linebacker 1. I think everybody understands why you can't put him at linebacker 1. 1 is his age. 2, obviously the injury history with the red flags and whatnot. So I get it, but this dude was all over the place, bro. All over the place. A-gap blitzer, outside blitzing, hand in the ground, dropping back into coverage, dropping in the lanes, getting hands on the football, chasing down guys on the sideline. he can play with the requisite physicality. We talked about Jeremiah Trotter. I think he can play with that requisite physicality from the position. He's lining guys up, moving guys over. I think he's going to be a green dot linebacker. Just the only thing holding me back with him is just the injuries, bro. Because he can stack and shed everything that you want from the position. He can offer that to you, right? And he can be that extra pass rusher if necessary. If that's what you want to do, you want to get cute, got a special package that you want to run, he can be a part of that, right?
I'd say Mississippi Nebraska, I'd say because he's been healthy the last 2 years, clean bill of health the last 2 years. And he suffered two knee injuries, one in high school, one in college, and he's still a blur.
Yep.
Right? He's still playing with a ton of physicality, and he runs like a deer. So I think those things are why he isn't necessarily being hurt because of a checkered injury history. Go ahead.
Yeah, Peyton Wilson. Yeah, he's a wild guy. I think, any linebacker in the class, including the linebacker one that we have, it's just he made more wild plays where you just like, wow, number 11 for NC State. That's a football player, man. He's an attacking style, second level linebacker. He comes downhill quickly, plus athleticism. He ran that 4.4 at the combine, right? So, that shows his speed. I think that tested time, he's going to push him up the board. The age and the injuries, that's what you kind of have to. That's why I have him at linebacker 2 as well. I couldn't put him as linebacker 1 because I think he's going to be 24 years old. Those knee injuries that he had in high school and in college. But he's all over the football field. He's like a blur out there. They put him on the edge. They could drop him back in coverage as well. You seen him run down a receiver. I forgot which game it was. He ran down a receiver, touchdown saving tackle, man. This speaks to his motor, his intensity, raw athleticism. What happened?
I said never quit.
Yeah, he never quits, man. I think some things that he needs to improve upon now is he'll shoot those gaps. And sometimes when you shoot those gaps quickly, it could backfire on you, because if it gets blocked up, that's how those big runs happen. There was a play against Audric Estime against Notre Dame where he shot that gap. He guessed wrong, and it just opened up a bigger hole. So, sometimes you don't want to be too aggressive because it could backfire against you. So I think he needs to improve upon that. Also, I said improve upon awareness and the cerebral parts of the game. I just think more film study will help him with that. I don't think he's a stack and shed guy. He's more of a player that was just hard to deal with coming downhill. You kind of want him as like your weak side linebacker, kind of free him up, just let him attack. And I say it could be an issue in man a little bit because I think his change of direction and hip movement is not the stiffest like some of these other guys lower down, but it's not as fluid as some other guys, including linebacker 1 for me that we're going to get to later. So I think those are just a couple parts of his game that he can improve upon. But, sideline to sideline, flying all over the place, making those wild plays, that's Peyton Wilson all day, man. That's linebacker 2.
Mississippi Nebraska, I don't know that it's not hurting him, but that would be the reason why. And you made mention of our guy Penix. I think it has less to do with Penix's injury history and more to do with the fact that he's a lefty that doesn't run. I think that's the reason why Penix is being pushed down. More so than his injury history. Now, of course, he's dealt with some of the nagging type stuff. Of course, he get injured in the national championship game, but I think it hurts him a bit more because of the fact that there are scouts, NFL coaches that feel like you have to change your offense entirely when you have a left-handed quarterback. I've never quite fully understood that, but that's a prevailing belief out there, and he doesn't necessarily use his legs the way he once did, back in Indiana prior to some of these injuries. So I think that also is working against him a little bit there. Yeah, I'm not disagreeing with you. I'm not disagreeing with you at all right there. All right. Pete had a question here with respect to Peyton Wilson, I believe. What range do you see him being drafted?
I think it starts at round 2.
For the second?
Yeah.
Yeah,
I think there's an off chance he could fall into the early parts of the 3rd round because of the injuries and the age, but I would expect with his skill set, he's off the board in round 2. All right. That takes us to numero uno, linebacker number 1. I see everybody is back waiting for the mock draft. You folks You folks on the X, do us a favor, jump over to YouTube real quick, hit the like button, and then you can jump back over to X. Edgerrin Cooper, Primero, the top-ranked linebacker in this class. What are your thoughts on Cooper here, Headley?
He's the most complete linebacker in the class. All-around game, the intensity, the swagger. I think he's even improved. You know, when I first watched the 2022 tape, I was like, okay, he's decent. He's good. But I thought he even got better in 2023. Long, athletic linebacker. He could come downhill quickly, go sideline to sideline, pass rush from the edge, versatile. He's all over the football field. I think his ability in the passing game, I think that's kind of what separates him from Peyton Wilson. You know, other than the age and not being as injury prone as him, I think he's better in the passing game as well on those passing downs or third downs. Love his motor, the physicality that he plays with. He gets to the ball carrier, and the quarterback spy ability, man. In the league, you got these quarterbacks, Josh Allen, Patrick Mahomes. They like to kind of play games and roll out and kind of dance a little bit and buy more time for the receivers on the football field. Edgerrin Cooper is erasing that. You know, you put him as a quarterback spy against those athletic quarterbacks. He comes downhill, he triggers, he closes really well. And what he does is break down also. A lot of people lose their containment on defense and allow additional time for the quarterback. I think Edgerrin Cooper does a really good job of sniffing that out and making the play on the quarterback or the running back. It doesn't really matter. 3-year starter, so he has a lot of experience. I think the only issue I really see with him, I say he's the most complete linebacker, is he could get engulfed at times in the run game. I think he can play all linebacker positions, but I would love to see him as a weak side linebacker. Because when he has room to operate, he can elude blocks, he could come downhill, and he can make those tackles for losses. He makes a lot of plays, whether it's in the backfield, in the passing game, deflections, around the football, forced fumbles. Man, his skill set is just, you know, all around, man. He's not much weaknesses in his game, and that's why he's linebacker 1. This is Juice Guy from Texas A&M, Edgerrin Cooper.
Bro, you didn't stamp this guy. That's my guy, bro.
Oh, my bad.
You already
Is
know.
your guy?
He bullshit. He bullshit.
Hey, you gotta run the tape. You say it's your guy, I go back to the tape.
No, I just want to see Joy Juice's face, bro. I want to see his face, bro. No, Juice been pushing this guy for a minute, man. I think it was early last season, if I'm not mistaken. But yeah, you kind of said it all, man. He's the entire package from the linebacker position. There are guys who just seem to find the football, right? And I think you want that at 2 positions. I talked about the instincts in terms of the safety and linebacker position. I think you would want, depending on how you run your defense, but the way they play safeties now, you want those guys around the football consistently, and he finds the football. Even if he's not the guy picking it off, even if he's not the guy picking it up on the fumble, but he just seems to be around the football. So that speaks to his instincts, understanding what's happening around him, or just straight out, hey, I'm gonna go get this ball wherever it's at, man. He has that ability that Roquan had, that we call the teleporter. He has some of that in his game, where he can just kind of get under blocks, beat guys to their block. And when I say beat guys to the block, normally it's by a step, maybe 2. This guy's doing it like by 3 or 4 steps. Like it's ridiculous. And how this dude ain't linebacker 1 for some people is crazy to me. I don't know how you watch his tape and you throwing other guys in front of him, because there's really no warts to his game. And I know Headley said, hey, you know, sometimes he can get engulfed in blocks. I think every linebacker can get engulfed in blocks. Mm-hmm. That's just the nature of the position, because you got 300-pound men running at you, and sometimes they just catch you, bro. It is what it is, right? So I want a playmaker. I want a guy with instincts that can make plays on the football, that can turn the football over. He has the ability to do that Levante David thing. May not necessarily be the guy causing the turnover, but he might be the guy picking up the fumble, right? He might be the guy clearing it for the next guy to pick up that fumble. Like, and it's timely too. That's big, right? And we're going to talk about a couple of guys on the edge class that are timely. And in terms of the linebacker position, I think him and Peyton Wilson are timely guys when it comes to making plays.
But see, Prasky, you know, we've talked about it throughout this the pre-draft process. This entire cycle is the fact that this past NFL season, I thought the best teams in the NFL had really great linebacking play. It's the running back position of the defense at this point. Now, of course, you had Bijan and Jahmyr Gibbs who kind of broke that cycle a little bit, but we're going to go back. We might not hear a running back get off the board until round 3 in a couple of days, right? You know what I'm saying? That's a distinct possibility. So I get it, but to your point, the impact that they have in the game, the amount of times that they're around the football, typically your leading tackler is a linebacker, right? And I want a guy who's going to make those plays closer to or behind the line of scrimmage than 4 or 5 yards downfield. You understand what I'm saying? Plus, I want a guy who can also make plays in the passing game. I don't necessarily have to take him off the field. If I want to send him on a blitz, a green dog, despite the quarterback, as Headley was mentioning, those guys I think should be pushed up the board. So I think there may be a little bit of an adjustment. I think there will be in the coming years as teams shift back to more power concepts. You're going to need linebackers who can actually stack and shed. You're going to need guys who can actually hold up at the point of attack. But just the way the game is being played, a pass-first game, we no longer have 3 linebackers on the field in 43s.
That's the one right there.
We have
nickel. One right there.
We got
That's
nickel.
The one right there.
Exactly. There's fewer linebackers on the field, snap in and snap out. So it's just the nature of the league. But I'm telling you, you want your linebackers early. You want the guys. You want to get them at a value. Let me rephrase that. You absolutely want to get them at a value. But I think identifying those guys is incredibly significant in terms of being able to make deep playoff runs and because defense still wins championships. All right. That's going to bring our linebacking conversation to a conclusion here. Let's transition. Let's take a little bit right here. Let's get into this mock draft. I know folks are waiting on it. And we'll knock out this 2-round mock draft. Headley will draft for the NFC teams, Drew AFC. And let's work in some trades. I'll broker the trades as you guys see fit. But let's work in some trades here as well. So give me just a second to get this teed up. And again, we already know who the first pick is. Really no surprise there. We've kind of kept that consistent throughout much of this process. All right, Headley, let's get it underway.
I think it's on Drew, right? Drew's NFC this time.
You were NFC last time, Headley?
Yeah, I was NFC.
Okay, I got it backwards. So it's on you, Drew. Go ahead.
Yeah, Kelly Williams. Go ahead.
All right.
Oh, me, NFC.
Yeah, you.
I think we went Jaden Daniels last time, didn't we?
Mm-hmm. Who's your QB2? Who's your QB2?
I mean, QB2 is Michael Penix, but you know, what are we hearing? We're hearing
a lot of Jaden Daniels. There's a lot of Jaden Daniels chatter.
So here. I'm gonna stick with Jaden Daniels because that's what we're hearing, bro.
All right. Okay. All right, New England.
Man, this is the spot here where everyone's thinking quarterback, but it depends on how they feel about the quarterback that's fallen to them, which is Drake May in this instance. So can we call up Minnesota? Can we make the trade here?
We can. Is that what we're doing?
But Drew's the NFC team, so
I'm brokering them. I'm brokering the deals. I'm brokering them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I just don't want to trade up for Minnesota and then not draft the quarterback because I'm not drafting for the Vikings. So
there it is. Deal's done.
It's already done. That quick.
It's done. Just that quick.
Yeah.
Although I'm not sure if the Vikings get it done. Bro. And you know what's crazy? It might work out better if they don't. That's my feeling on it. We'll see what happens draft night, but it might actually work out better if they don't make that deal.
We're gonna draft. I probably should go my quarterback 2 here. But we're gonna draft Drake May here, man. Let's do it.
All right. I mean, he was your quarterback 2 for an extensive period of time. So,
yeah.
All right, 4 picks in a row here, Drew.
Marvin Harrison Jr.
There you go, Dana. Marvin Harrison Jr.
You're not even thinking about it.
A lot of chatter in the chat regarding the linebacking position, and I'd have to agree with most of you. Dana, I must say, Steve Keim just did not know what to do with his linebackers, whether it be Reddick or Collins. Those are pass rushers. They're not off-ball linebackers. They're pass rushers. So, if you miscast them, yeah, they probably will struggle with respect to, being able to substantiate that first round billing. All right, Headley, you're on the clock.
Yeah, this is another spot here where I think the Chargers are going to be on the phone. They're going to see who wants JJ McCarthy, the next quarterback. Everyone's thinking that should go. I have Michael Penix above JJ McCarthy, but all the tea leaves are saying that somebody wants McCarthy here, and the teams to trade up. I know Denver just made the trade for Zach Wilson, so they may be out. I think the Raiders is a team that really needs a quarterback. I'm not sure how they feel about JJ McCarthy, but that's probably who I will get on the call right here to see what they're willing to do. Because somebody want to get in front of the New York Giants. Because I think if he falls, the Giants might be looking at the quarterback. It's an interdivision trade.
Yeah, it is an interdivision trade.
Yeah, man, you got to give it all up, bro. Give it all up, bro.
Oh man, this simulator isn't great from this perspective. Let's see. Change this once more. Give me just a moment. So obviously going to cost you the 2 first, and then you get back maybe the 5th. Wow, I guess not. All right, we'll just make it happen. I imagine the deal will cost the Raiders more here, right? This probably will cost the Raiders a 3rd round pick in 2024 as well, I would imagine. But to substantiate it for mock draft purposes, we'll pull it.
Pull it.
All right,
Raiders.
And I think it's going to be JJ McCarthy to the Raiders. Like I said, Penix is higher on my board. I'm going on just the tea leaves here. I'm just going to ignore my board for right now. What I would do, and I'm gonna go with what I think how the Raiders would do. So I got JJ McCarthy here for the Raiders.
And the Giants, as soon as they said JJ McCarthy, the Giants said Michael Penix.
Well, I'm actually hearing DJ and Brugler both mentioned that their sources are suggesting that the Giants aren't really in on JJ McCarthy. So a couple quote unquote insiders, they're draft guys, but quote unquote insiders. That's what we're hearing. That could be completely wrong, but that's what they're hearing.
Could be a smoke screen.
So Michael Penix here to the Giants. All right, Tennessee on the clock.
The Titans, I think offensive tackle. I think this is a team that needs an off tackle. That they went in and got Cameron Ridley to show up that wide receiver room. So we're gonna go get Joe Alt from Notre Dame, tackle 1.
Tackle 1.
All right, Joe Alt, Tennessee.
We know the Falcons ain't got no pick here, bro. What are we doing? Let's get them boys. I think we've done Rome a bunch of times. Let's give them Malik Neighbors, man. Let's give them something sexy over there.
I like it.
All right, Malik Neighbors at Atlanta. And Chicago back on the clock.
Chicago, I want to go Rome, but we got to be responsible, and we got to go. Let's go Olu Fashanu.
So you're going back to the offensive line. Going back to the offensive line here, bolstering that left tackle position.
Yeah,
all right,
gonna get right.
I'm not mad at it. I think that's what we were doing very early in the process. We were saying we can assure this offensive lineup. We're going to get a receiver, but I think we were getting a receiver on top of it, though. Right at the very beginning, before
at the beginning, yes.
Before we were like, you know what, Caleb. If there's any quarterback that we're going to take over Fields, it would be Caleb. So, all right, Fashanu here to the Bears. And that
the Jets. I think the Jets will absolutely love if this is how the draft board fell to them, because I think Rome Odunze will be the pick here if he falls to number 10. You put him with Garrett Wilson. Aaron Rodgers is going to be happy. He might play another 3-4 years with those 2 young wide receivers, man. So let's go get Rome Odunze here for the Jets. They showed up the offensive line a little bit. Some injury prone guys, but you know they shorted up a little bit in free agency.
All right, you're still on the clock here, Hadley. AFC, representing the AFC.
So New England traded out, right?
Mm-hmm.
And I'm thinking they're probably looking at Penix here, but Drew hated on me, right? They went Penix to the Giants. So
Kobe
next
Brissett.
quarter, yeah, Brissett got to do his thing, and I wouldn't reach here for a quarterback for these guys. The next quarterback would be what? Bo Nix, correct?
Yep. Based on these rankings, yeah.
Yeah, the 3 receivers are already off the board here. Yeah, I'm gonna probably just go. I'm gonna go tackle. I'm gonna go left tackle. Let's get this offense right, man. We're gonna get some receivers later on. You got the 23rd pick and the 34th pick to get your receiver and maybe get your quarterback of the future. So I'm gonna go Troy Fautanu to the New England Patriots.
I like it. There you go, Denver.
Denver Broncos, another team. They brought in Zach Wilson here, so maybe he competes with Stidham for the quarterback.
This is the Bo Nix
position.
pick, bro.
Yeah, it could be, but I'm not gonna go Bo Nix. I think the trade for Zach Wilson, they probably looked at their board and was like, do we like Zach Wilson more than some of these quarterbacks like Bo Nix that will fall here to us? And they was like, yeah, we like Wilson. I think he's younger than Bo Nix as well, being in the league, the 3rd year in the league. So he's a younger quarterback. So I think they pass up on Bo Nix here, and they probably go defense. Let's go defense. Let's go get a corner opposite Patrick Surtain, and let's go get Quinion Mitchell. Quinion Mitchell.
Them boys got lockdown out there.
The sparky, the athleticism, just the ability. He's just more athletic than my cornerback one, which is Terrion Arnold.
So I just have a question here with respect to Denver. They don't have a 2nd-round pick, right? There's no necessarily the quarterback isn't necessarily here at this point.
A trade down, you thinking?
Do you expect? Yeah, that's what I would anticipate. I would anticipate a trade down. I think there'd be teams clamoring for these edge rushers that are still available, Latu versus Turner. You have both corners available. I'll select Quinion Mitchell. That's not a problem. But I just wanted to discuss the likelihood. I think with that quarterback no longer being on the board, they're not able to trade up. I think Zach Wilson is really kind of an insurance policy, right? Yeah. They probably feel that he can spin it closer to home. He can spin it. Maybe we coach him up, get him in a Sean Payton offense, maybe unlock something. But I think that's just kind of, in case of emergency, right? They would like to get a quarterback in this draft. But if the guy isn't available, they're not able to go up and acquire that guy. I would think that Denver would be trading down. I think they have enough needs where they need to move in that direction.
All right, broker it then, bro. Broker the trade, man. I think the trade up will be for either, to me, the Saints needs a tackle really badly, but their team with not much draft capital as well, right? The Saints.
No.
Also, Brock Bowers is still on the board. Maybe somebody wants to trade up for the talent of a Brock Bowers.
I think teams like, I know it's not necessarily in Green Bay's DNA, but I think it would make a lot of sense for them. Pittsburgh and Cincinnati, right? A team like Cincinnati in particular, with Joe Burrow coming back, you may decide, hey, we'll hold on to T. Higgins. You know what I'm saying? Let's push our chips to the middle of the table. Let's add a Brock Bowers and run it. You know what I'm saying? Maybe something along those lines. Or Pittsburgh may move up to say, hey, you know what? We want to put a bookend with Joey Porter Jr. And if we can get our hands on Quinion or Terrion Arnold, whomever you have as your top corner there, maybe go in that direction. So I would suggest one of those two teams.
Let's go sexy, man. Let's go pick the Bengals. Let's get the Bengals trading up for Brock Bowers.
All right.
Bengals fans, they might kill us, man. Oh, you trading up for a tight end, but let me tell you, Brock Bowers, he's not just a tight end, man. He's a different kind of cat out there, and I put him up there with the top 3 receivers. I think he's one of those playmakers on the outside, and if I had to rank those 3 guys, it'd probably be Marvin Harrison Jr., and then maybe Brock Bowers, then Neighbors and Roma Dunze.
Okay. I ain't mad at it.
All right, we got Brock Bowers.
I'm hearing the same thing there, Dana.
Yeah, they might trade up for him.
Brock Bowers to Cincinnati on the trade up. Yeah, I think that might be where things are headed with respect to that. At least that's what the rumors suggest. Got the Chargers after a trade down here, Headley.
Yeah,
Pick
we're
up the
gonna
first
go
rounder
get.
next year.
You're gonna get Fuaga. Jim Harbaugh is out there, and he want to get that trenches right. He wants to run the football and play defense. I think the right tackle, you got Slater on the left side. I know Slater didn't play his best ball last season, but the right tackle is kind of the biggest need for the Chargers. It's been that for a while also. So, getting one of the better right tackles in the class in Fuaga here at 13.
All right, Drew. You're on the clock here with the Saints.
Yeah, can we slide over to the offensive tackles? Damn, J.C. Latham, Marius Mims. These boys need a tackle in the worst way, bro. I don't think I can even not draft a tackle here. Hold on, let me check. You know what? I'm gonna do it, bro. I don't care, bro. Hold on. Let me not do that.
Oh man.
Hold up. My keyboard ain't working, man. Boy,
what are you doing? What are you trying to do right now?
I wanna check their roster, but I can't because my keyboard ain't working.
Well, they need a tackle in the worst way.
They need a tackle, bro. Are you concerned about the right tackle versus left tackle part of it?
Yes, that is my concern.
I know what you're concerned about, bro. I know.
Right, man, I appreciate you, bro.
I think your boy's hurt, though. Ryan Check is hurt, if I'm not mistaken.
Was hurt.
Yeah, he was contemplating retirement, Ramchek, because of the injuries.
It's a career-threatening injury. There's a cartilage loss in his knee that he's had to deal with for years now, and it's becoming more and more of an issue here. So I would say take the best tackle. I don't know that Latham or Mims are necessarily going to be able to make the transition to left tackle, but I would focus on just taking the top tackle on your board at this point. You muted yourself, Drew.
My bad.
I think this is also an option here. I think that in terms of their mid-round picks, they don't have them, right? So let me take a quick look here.
That's probably the best.
Yeah, they don't have a third or a fourth. All
right, let's slide down because that's probably the best option here.
All right, you want to engage Pittsburgh?
Yeah, since they want Quinyon Mitchell.
All right, let's get the Pittsburgh thing going here. Make it happen.
There you go.
Quinyon to Pittsburgh in front of Indy as well as Jacksonville. So makes a lot of sense from that perspective.
Yeah. Colts, a cornerback is a big need for them. But they brought back Kenny Moore. They drafted Juju Brents, and these edge rushers, they're falling down the board. So I'm gonna go edge rusher here. I'm gonna go get our number one guy, Latu from UCLA. Play edge for the Colts.
All right, Drew. Brassi says I need a second round pick. He says I need one.
He needs a second round pick. All right.
What he said. That's what he said.
Let's do it. Let's do it, man. Who we trading with is the question, though.
Oh, that's what we got to talk about. Considering on who's on the board, who gets aggressive and moves up here to either acquire a Jared Verse, a Dallas Turner.
Everybody's kind of falling, so it's kind of
yeah.
You know what I'm saying? Makes it a little harder.
Makes it harder.
Hard. You know about it.
Brian Thomas. Brian Thomas is still available.
The Rams might be a little aggressive.
The Rams might want to get aggressive. Philadelphia.
Yeah, Philly.
Go with Rams. Let me just see what the Rams got. The Rammies.
All right, this is an interdivisional trade as well, so that's the other thing there. But
it's what it is.
All right.
We've seen it happen before.
3 picks per second round pick. I don't think that's gonna happen.
No.
Well, I mean, it's Philly might be the better one there. They got 2 second round picks.
Then you got Green Bay.
Green Bay got 2 second round picks. Let's see. There it is.
Green Bay.
There it is. Green Bay. There it is.
All right.
So what did Green Bay trade up for?
That's the magical question. I think it would be. I think this would be a tackle for them, right? But man, hold up. Let me see. The Packers.
Keyboard working now.
Yeah, I got
Keyboard working now. Okay.
Yeah, I don't. It was. I don't know what happened. I don't know. I just stopped working. It was weird, bro. I don't know. Stuff just happens sometimes. So them boys need a left tackle. Rasheed Walker, Andre Diller, and
somebody told me Rasheed Walker is him, bro. I seen it in the comments. Rasheed Walker is him. Yeah, the Packers fans.
I wouldn't go that far. You go Terry and Arnold right here. Get in front of Jacksonville.
Yeah, let me see.
I like the suggestion, Mr. C. You know,
that's what
Cooper
I was
DeJean. You know, Green Bay Packers fans like Cooper DeJean because they need another guy who can play next to McKinney. And of course, he can play the boundary, or you know, he can play a little slot for you, I suppose.
Let's go Cooper. Let's go Cooper.
Cooper?
Yeah, let's go Cooper DeJean.
Man, I don't think you trade up for Cooper, bro.
You don't think you trade up for? I would trade up for Cooper if that's what's
over Terry and Arnold. Over Terry and Arnold?
Maybe not, bro. I don't know that I trade up for
Pete's the Packer fan, man. Terry and Arnold.
That's
what I was gonna pick. With
that's what you're gonna go to Jacksonville. You get in front of Jacksonville to get Terry and Arnold, bro.
So with that happening, I'm gonna.
But you still got Nate.
I might go get Cooper. I might go get Cooper DeJean then.
Yeah.
He's probably the next DB. Him or Nate Wiggins. You know what? I'm gonna go get an outside corner that I feel comfortable with, and I'm gonna go get Nate Wiggins here to Jacksonville.
Big Wiggy. All right, Denver.
The Broncos. We traded down, correct?
You get your Kool-Aid or you get your Bo Nix, bro.
Bo Nix. You got Zach Wilson. I told you we had Zach.
Bro, the rumor is that they're smitten with Bo Nix. I'm just telling you.
Smitten? Smitten? So it's going to be Bo Nix, Stidham, and Zach Wilson? That what you telling me, bro?
That's what I'm telling you.
I don't know about that, bro. I don't know about that. They could use some interior offensive line help as well. I know JPJ is our top interior offensive lineman. Yeah, we could fix him, man. We could fix Wilson, bro. I don't think they trade for Zach Wilson to come draft Bo Nix in the first round. I think they could entertain probably Spencer Rattler a little later, maybe the second round with that 49th pick. They do need a corner.
I think the Zach Wilson acquisition is if we can't get a deal done to move up and get the guy we want, right?
Yeah, backup.
We'll turn our attention to 2025. We'll trade down. We'll add draft capital. We'll turn our attention to 2025.
You know where I'm going? I know where I'm going, bro.
And then still add a guy. Day 2, day 3, right? But I don't think they're going to draft a quarterback at 12 if 5 guys go off the board in the first 10, 11 picks.
I'm going to go because I like the edge rushers, the young guys, Browning, Cooper, Bonito. I like those guys. I'm going to get a guy up front. And I'm going to go get Byron Murphy from Texas.
Okay.
I'm going to select him. I think he can help as an interior pass rusher. And he's versatile too. I don't think he'd be pigeonholed as a 3-tech. I think he could play some 4-eye as well. I think he can move up along that defensive line for Denver. But on passing downs, we're going to rush him as a 3-tech. But, on run plays, I think he can hold up against a run as a odd man defensive end as well.
Why over Johnny Newton?
I think Johnny Newton is that 3-tech guy that penetrates that one gapping guy. I think Murphy's a little more versatile than Johnny Newton, especially in the run game as well.
Why? Because and this is I'm asking for me.
Yeah.
I'm sure the audience could appreciate it, but I'm asking for me because Johnny Newton is the one who played all over the line of scrimmage. It wasn't Byron
Yeah.
Murphy.
No, Murphy played. He
No,
played
no,
somewhat
no, no,
along
no, no, no. He
the line of
did,
scrimmage
but
also.
not like Johnny Newton though.
But
Not like Johnny Newton though.
we saw what Johnny Newton did more two gapping, and we saw what he did getting straight after the quarterback. I want him attacking the quarterback every
Okay.
single play. I think he does that better than Murphy. Rushing as a 3 tech, and I think Murphy offers a little bit more in the run game than Jerjon Newton.
Okay.
My opinion.
All right. You good, Drew? You comfortable?
Yeah, I'm just waiting on y'all boys. I like
We fine,
No. The thing about like if you just look at it from a pure alignment perspective, right? I mean, it stuck out to me watching the film, but when you actually look at the data, it supports the fact that Johnny Newton played a wider variety of roles along the defensive line. Now, was that the best way to use him? No. And I think that's Headley's argument is that I even though Murphy may not have played as an expansive role, he probably his skill set, his strength at the point of attack, particularly in the run game, may be a better fit for that, right? I'm just looking at it from the perspective of Newton is a proven commodity, having done all of those different things. You know what I'm saying? So it's a little bit more of a projection, but I can understand. I can understand where Headley's coming from with respect to Murphy. All right, we got the Rams on the clock here.
All right, so it's either Jerjon Newton here or Dallas Turner. I'm gonna go Dallas Turner.
Dallas Turner. All right.
Yeah, this time around.
That edge rush going. New Orleans after the trade down.
All right, so can we go back to the offensive line? Can I grab my guy now that we got our second round pick?
Yeah, worked out well. JC Latham.
Yeah, let's go grab us a JC Latham. We can't do the injury thing, otherwise we go get Mims.
All right. Dolphins, Headley.
Yeah, it's got to be a trenches guy. I know the Dolphins, they want another wide receiver, but I think
Xavier Worthy. You got Xavier Worthy, right?
It's just too much. It's just too much, bro. When
that's the rumors, bro.
You lost a lot of guys on the interior. You lost Christian Wilkins. You lost, was it Robert Hunt on the offensive line? So to me, it's got to be somebody in the trenches. And I think I'm leaning more on the offensive side of the football, especially up the middle here. And I'm going to go get JPJ. I know the concussion history is a thing, but at the end of the day, he's my interior offensive line one, and to me, he's a round one guy. So we're gonna take the chance with the concussions and go get JPJ.
All right, Powers Johnson to Miami, Philly on the clock.
Yeah, with that Philly, bruh. Let me check them corners real quick. Cooper DeJean would be a good fit for them boys. Kool-Aid would be a good fit for them. Did Kool-Aid fall down to mock draft here? 24?
No.
He wasn't always that low, was he?
No, I think that's about right. Yeah.
That's about right. All right, give me Kool-Aid right here, man.
I'm gonna go Kool-Aid at another corner. All right.
Yeah.
I'm not at it.
Up over there.
Scotty Jones, concussion just part of the job at Sunday.
There you go,
man.
He'd be all right, man.
You tough, right? That Cam, bro. You tough, right? All right, New England on the
shot
clock
every
here.
day, B.
Every day, B.
Every day. I'm gonna go get a wide receiver here. And I'm gonna go get, Adonai Mitchell is my next receiver off the board, but due to the temperament of an Adonai, and I don't know if he's a good fit in New England.
The culture,
the culture, and the quarterback might not be able to get him the ball all the time.
Culture ain't the same. Culture ain't the same, bro.
Nah, it's still. They got the disciples. It's the same culture. Is it more laid back? It might be more laid back though. Yeah, but
well, you can breathe, bro. You can exhale, bro. It's okay.
Yeah,
you can exhale in New England now.
I'm gonna go with Brian Thomas Jr. here, the big play guy from LSU. Go along with some of the Demario Douglas on the inside, and we got Brissett there as a stopgap. Still need another quarterback, so we'll see what happens later on in this draft for the Patriots.
All right. Drew on the clock with Dallas.
All right. That's your team, bro. What you want to do?
That's not my team, bro. Chill. Not my team,
bro. Let's go to interior offensive line. Let me just see what's there. Who's on the board?
Grant Barton's there. I will say, Jervis is your second ranked edge, both of you, and he's sliding. He seems to be the player sliding here. with Fowler, Dorrance Armstrong leading, DeMarcus Lawrence going into the last year of his deal. Verse probably makes sense here. In fact, I would expect someone to move up to get Verse. He gets past the Rams. I think somebody's moving up to get him.
Let's go Verse. Let's go Verse there. Lock him in.
I get it. I get the interior offensive line. I know they got multiple issues along the offensive line, but I don't think they would pass up Verse there, honestly. Seattle, Mississippi Prasky, Seahawks on the clock. Hey, what you gonna do, Drew? Traded down, added the second round pick.
I did. I'm really thinking about Drazon right there. Ooh, it's either Drazon or it's Darius Robinson. That's really where I'm thinking. Verse was our guy in that scenario. Hey man, you can blame Juice for that. His Cowboys. He needed Verse on his team, bro.
Oh man.
Let me take Drazon is much higher. Yeah, let's go Johnny Newton.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
All right, Bucks. What do you do, Drew? Hey man, they didn't like your mock draft, bro. I mean, well let me rephrase that. It's not that they didn't like your mock draft. They didn't like your selection of Tyler Nugent. They felt like at that point in the draft, you already got Jordan Whitehead, Whit Winfield. What do you?
Jordan Whitehead's not gonna be there forever. He's not gonna be there forever, bro.
I'm saying, bro. I'm just telling you what they were
saying.
Bro,
like how many years they think he got left, bro?
But you know what the issue is, bro? You know what the issue is, right? You didn't draft a damn corner until the 7th round, bro. That's the problem.
Yeah, because I'm not scared of the corner position for me, bro. They are.
Well, we made that perfectly clear. We made it perfectly clear that
I ain't scared,
bro. So
you know what I'm saying?
You know.
I mean, if a guy is there, I guess
your fellow Bucks fans thought differently, bro.
Hey, man.
Just saying.
Hey, listen. It is what it is, bro.
Graham Barton, right?
Yeah, right? Let's do it. I want to go Cooper DeJean, but let's go Graham Barton. Let's be boring and responsible.
All right, Cardinals.
That
is this a Cooper DeJean pick?
Yeah, that's it. Yeah, lock it in, bro.
Yeah. Cooper DeJean here, 27th overall for you, Dana. Buffalo, Headley.
Man, you traded Stephon Diggs,
right?
Right. So
for Mitchell.
For Mitchell, I don't know. I don't know if they want to deal with that again. So Mitchell might be a guy that might fall because of these concerns. Although the talent is there for Mitchell, the size, the speed, the movement ability at his size. The route running. He has a lot of things to like, but that off the field concern, if he's not getting the football, he might throw a fit. So I don't have Buffalo getting Adonai Mitchell here. I'm thinking they wait to the 60th pick to get that Diggs replacement. So I'm going to go edge right here. I'm going to go with the physical edge in Darius Robinson from Missouri. Help with the run game.
I like it. You know, I kind of intimated, and I think I actually selected Darius Robinson for Buffalo when I did that 3-round mock draft months ago, indicating that we want to win differently in Buffalo, right? We want to play some better defense. You understand what I'm saying? And the thing about it is, I'm not suggesting that Buffalo doesn't need a receiver. I'm not suggesting that. As you mentioned, Headley, you're thinking about prioritizing the receiver with the 60th overall pick. Diggs in like the last 7 weeks of the season, even going into the playoffs, did not eclipse 75 yards receiving, and I think he only had 1 touchdown over that course of time. And Josh Allen was playing out of his mind during that time frame. So as I mentioned before, I think Josh Allen has the ability to raise the level of guys around him. I think it might be addition by subtraction, to be perfectly honest with you, long term in terms of what the salary cap is going. Now, I hope Diggs gets back to playing good ball, right? Because it could be lights, camera, action in Houston. Hopefully his mind is right. But the player that he was here at the end of the season, I don't think they lost much from that perspective. All right. So Darius Robinson to Buffalo and the Lions. Drew, what do you do here in Detroit? Our hosts for the 2024 NFL Draft.
Go to edge. I see Chop Robinson there. I just want to see. So I know he's not ahead. I know. Scroll down real quick. I just want to see something. Just want to make sure.
Who that? The Doorless?
No, I wasn't even thinking about Doorless.
Got to get a knee biter.
That's what I'm looking for. I'm looking for a knee biter.
I know you're looking for a knee biter, bro.
Yeah. I mean, I see one. Damn. Go interior. Hold on. Let me just see what's left. Zach Frazier could be Christian.
They got their guys, but next year they'll have an opening along the offensive line. You roll the dice with the Adonai, maybe his teammate Xavier Worthy on that track.
Let's go to Xavier Worthy, with the track.
Okay,
let's do that, man. Let's go for Adonai.
Jake was saying, "Is this a surprise spot for Nealon?" But I think Helly and Drew. I don't want to give it away. I don't want to give it away because we're gonna cover the edges next. I'm gonna cover the edges next. So, but I understand Nealon. I understand Nealon if you're looking for a knee biter, kneecaps.
That would have been the Darius Robinson pick right here. But
yeah, it would have been the Darius Robinson pick. Yeah, Xavier Worthy to Detroit. So we're gonna roll out a Jamison Williams, a Xavier Worthy, a Sam Laporta, and a Amon-Ra St. Brown. That's what we're doing.
That's what we're doing, bro. Cover nice. Somebody. Who you gonna double, bro?
All right.
I'll be able to take two of them guys.
Baltimore.
Yeah, I think the three positions in need for the Ravens, wide receiver. So Adonai Mitchell, I think, would be a nice fit here. But let me check out the edge rushers. I think they need an edge also. Chot Robinson, that would be a nice edge for those guys. Let me see corner as well. I think they could use another corner. Rick Straw. So yeah, to me right now, it's either Chot Robinson or Adonai Mitchell. And I think what's going to happen in this draft is with the depth at wide receiver, not as much first round wide receivers go. I think teams might wait a little bit, draft a tackle or an edge rusher, and wait for the receiver in the second round. I think that's where the run on wide receivers will happen. So I'm going to go Chop Robinson to the Ravens, get that pass rusher.
All right. Sound reasoning. San Francisco on the clock, who might be in the market for a receiver. We're hearing the rumors around Brandon Ayuk. Trade rumors starting to pick up some steam here. So we'll see how that works out.
Assuming that they keep Ayuk, we're gonna assume that, right?
Okay.
I know they need a tackle. A
couple pieces on that offensive line.
Yeah, I need some interior. Let's see, boy. Let me take a peek at the roster real quick. The Niners. Let's see. Trent Williams, who probably got too many years left.
That's the Commanders right there. That's what Jake talking about.
Mm-hmm.
All right, let's go.
I wouldn't do it. On McLaurin, Dotson, and then you add another one of these receivers in the draft. I wouldn't do it. Yeah. You need to bolster your offensive line as well.
Yeah, that's what I was thinking for Washington. Offensive line makes more
sense.
But
I see what Jake is saying though. I see what he's saying though. You can then take that 31st overall pick and then bring in Mims. I see what he's saying.
I like it.
Morgan's. Ooh, I like Scotty Joe's thought process here.
Yeah, I'm trying, man.
And we're putting too much on Drew's plate.
I was gonna try to be responsible, bro. You know what I'm saying? I'm trying to be responsible.
You get an offensive line, right?
This is the final mock draft, bro. Before the draft, bro. You talk about being responsible, bro. What you mean?
Yeah. All right, man. Go get Excel. Go get Excel, bro.
We gonna do it?
Yeah, let's do it.
Oh man, don't let the peer pressure get you, bro. What were you planning on doing? Let's talk about what you were planning on doing. You're gonna get Mims. You would get Mims.
I was gonna do offensive line. Just had to think through it, but no.
Nah, but that's fine. Mims is sexy.
No, bro. Bro, I can just blame you, bro. Go ahead. Excel. Bro.
Oh man, KC on the clock.
Yeah, this is gonna be a good Mims pick here. You don't got your boy Donovan Smith. That's a addition by subtraction right there. But you got one name more that you drafted. I just don't know if he's ready yet. I don't know if he's ready to take on that left tackle position. They need a wide receiver. We know Rashee Rice. He's probably going to face a little suspension. You don't have no receivers on your roster. But again, tackle or wide receiver. The wide receivers is so deep that they could probably get a wide receiver at 64. So I'm gonna do the tackle thing, and I'm gonna go get Amarius Mims from Georgia.
And the Panthers gonna take Adonai Mitchell. Thank you very much. I appreciate you.
Easy money.
Yeah.
Easy money. All right. Okay, Headley. Troy Fautanu, Brian Thomas, by way of the trade down with the Vikings. I like
Bo Nix pick right here, bro.
I'm gonna go quarterback. I'm not gonna go Bo Nix.
Spencer.
Let's go Spencer Rattler. Let's go get a guy where Brissett could play for a year. We could develop Rattler. I think he has a higher ceiling than Bo Nix.
Okay.
And because Brissett's there, we're gonna go get Spencer Rattler. Surprise pick here at the top of the second.
All right.
All right, man. Please go and get me
provocative.
Where's he at? Go get me Edrin Cooper right now, bro.
Right now.
Right now.
Do it right now. We're not addressing the offensive line. We're not doing that no more, huh? We off the offensive line, huh?
Yeah, I can just blame you, bro. The last mock draft, man. You know?
Washington better go get an offensive lineman, Drew.
Don't
man.
Is Mims still on the board?
No,
he gone.
No,
go give me Kingsley then. We'll take Kingsley right here.
All right. Chargers.
So I got the Fuaga at the 13th pick. I traded back, did the Jim Harbaugh thing, and then with pick 37, let me see. You got Bo Nix, you got Ladd McConkey. The Chargers, they need a wide receiver. I know they want to run the football, but you got Quentin Johnson, Josh Palmer, Darius Davis as your three receivers. They also could go defense, right? Khalil Mack and Joey Bosa. Those guys are getting a little older. They gave a contract to? They restructured both their contracts, correct?
Yeah, they did.
Restructuring. Man, I'm looking at it. They need a corner too. Who's the corners on the board? Rakestraw, Sanger Still.
Well, you can wait, bro.
Wait on what? What are you saying?
The corner? I mean, unless you,
you wait on the corner? They don't have another pick. Who's the guys on the defensive line? Interior. Who they got on the interior? Fisk, Jenkins, Aurora. You got my boy already?
Who?
Oh, there you go. There you go.
Dorless? Oh, yeah. Go ahead, do Dorless, bro.
I'm going to go get Brandon Dorless. I think people are sleeping on him. I think he's a second-round guy.
Bro, who they going to throw the ball to, B?
We're going to figure that out.
All right. Okay. I'm just asking the question. I'm just posing the question. You're going to figure it out.
My bad, Scotty, man. I took a little while with these boys, man. But we're going to get Brandon Dorless.
All right. Dorless to the Chargers.
And then the Titans got Joe Alt, man. Got that offensive line right. I like what they brought in with Calvin Ridley, Hopkins. So they got the wide receivers for Will Levis. We're going to go on the defensive side of the football here for these boys. And they brought in Snead. I like the Snead pickup also. Got the pass rushers. Got Simmons. Who's sliding on the board, man? Who's sliding on the board? Rakestraw. I like the corners.
Yeah, no big slide based on these rankings.
You want to go get Keon Coleman, bro? State.
Keon Coleman. You know what? I'm gonna do more work. I'm gonna do more work on the offensive line. I think they could double down on the offensive line.
Okay.
And I'm gonna get him another tackle.
Ooh.
We're gonna go get Tyler Guyton to go with Joe Alt, man. We're gonna get the two tackles, man, back to back.
All right.
I like it.
I'm not mad at it.
I like it. Can we slide over the edge, please? Damn, God, I don't. Hold on. Let me look. I think I'm gonna be irresponsible. I'm gonna be irresponsible here, and we're gonna help Bryce Young out, man. I just want to make sure.
They need a center, bro.
I can't do it because they got Deontay Johnson. I forgot you don't like Austin Corbett.
I'm not sure he's going to play center. He's never played center before. He's been injured.
Okay.
That's intel. That's the intel I got.
That's intel. All right, let's go get Zach Frazier then.
That's your guy.
Lock it in. Yeah, all right, and then for these boys, corner edge.
I like the Jaden Daniels and Kingsley start, bro.
Yeah, I think it's solid. Let's do Mikey Sanders still, bro. Let's take him off the board right here, bro.
Mikey.
All right, Jake. What you saying, man? Packers. You want you a Jordan Morgan?
Jake and Pete. Pete orchestrated that trade up.
Oh yeah, Pete did. Boys then vetoed me. I was gonna go Cooper DeJean, and then boys said, nah. Arnold all day, man. Arnold all day. We can. Well, let's go. I think Jordan Morgan here, because if he don't work on the tackle side, we kick him inside, man.
I like that idea. I like that idea.
Safe play. Yeah, let's do that.
That's a good move right there. Good pick.
Houston,
Texans joining the party.
Yeah, they're ready to go on the offensive side of the football. CJ Stroud has all those weapons, so I'm gonna go defense here. I'm gonna get the best 3 tech left on the board. You got Michael Hall Jr., you got Chris Jenkins, got Braden Fisk. Man, this one's tough right here. You know what I'm gonna go do?
What you gonna do, bro?
I like all 3 of those guys at the top.
All 3 of them. Gonna wait on it, huh? You gonna wait on it?
For 59?
Yeah.
No, I wouldn't do it.
I wouldn't do it either. Yeah, I wouldn't do it either. I'm gonna go get Braden Fisk. I'm gonna go get the guy with the pass rushing upside with a Braden Fisk here. I think Chris Jenkins and Michael Hall more all around players, but we're gonna get after the quarterback here in Houston. I think they're gonna be playing with the lead a lot, so we're gonna get the guy to get after the quarterback.
All right, Falcons. I think I want to go edge. Yeah, see, Morgan solid. See, sometimes I be knowing what I be doing. Sometimes,
Pete orchestrated the pick. Mrs. Prasky orchestrated the move, right? Because Seattle was trading down. All right, so let's want to make sure y'all understand what actually transpired here.
Oh man,
big FSU bias, Scotty Joe, big time.
Had to do it.
It's a sickness, bro. It's a sickness.
Yeah, I think I'm. Yeah, and you guys are the ones who put me on game as it relates to Michael Hall, because I'd always been a Chris Jenkins guy. Michael Hall is the one, bro.
Yeah.
After the door list, bro, I'm looking at Michael Hall.
That's
bro.
the guy you like.
Yeah. That's the guy I like.
Go to edge. I'm trying not to give him my rankings by doing this, man.
Come on, man. Let's do this, man. We got all night. Come on.
Adisa Isaac right here.
Adisa Isaac. I like Isaac a lot. I do. Vegas.
So we made a big trade up, right, to get the quarterback. So, you know what I'm going to do? I'm going to stack some more offense with the Raiders. We're going to go more offense. They could use you know what? I'm gonna go with the Antonio Pierce pick here, man. I'm gonna go get the second linebacker off the board.
Oh, okay.
And I'm gonna go get Peyton Willis to fly around for the Raiders.
Peyton Willis out there?
Wilson.
Oh, wow, that's Peyton Willis. Boy, Peyton Willis a beast, bro.
Right. Wilson.
Yo.
Oh man. All right,
let's go.
And then this would be a dream scenario for New Orleans if they're able to trade down, add some draft capital in those middle rounds, come away with J.C. Latham. That's a dream scenario.
You think they would scoop up Bo Nix here? I can see.
I think it's a possibility. I think it's a distinct possibility. Yeah.
But we're not doing it. Let's go wide receiver.
All right, cool.
All right. And grab Keon Coleman right now.
All right. Indy?
Yeah, we're going to go back to the defensive side of the ball. We're going to go grab a corner back here for the Colts. got my boy Rakestraw, got my boy Max Melton. But I'm gonna go Rakestraw here, man. I like Rakestraw's tape. Physical, get his hands on guys. The injury, we kind of didn't see him in the process, but the tape, man, he's a guy that I like probably more than the masses, and it's Rakestraw.
We're going Ricky Pearsall right here, bro.
Ricky.
Ricky. Pretty Ricky, what they
what
call him.
was a man's name who used to come in, bro, and used to be like, has Ricky been drafted yet? I haven't seen him.
Oh, yeah. Man. I forgot his name.
Ricky.
Oh, who was that? You're right. I forgot. Yeah, he's been drafted. Nah. The Jacksonville Jaguars went and got you some Nate Wiggins.
Yeah. Got Nate, man. They said they're gonna play Devin Lloyd more pass rushing, right?
Rushing. Yeah,
him and Josh Allen, Trayvon Walker, Eric Armstead. I like the front. I like the linebackers as well. We showed up the cornerback position with Nate Wiggins, but they could use more help in the secondary. I think we might have to double down in the secondary here, and we're not gonna go. What they got? They brought in Savage. They got him as a nickelback. I like him more as a safety. So I'm gonna go get another corner.
He played corner. He played corner in college.
Yeah.
The thing about Savage is coverage grades have been pretty good. Maybe a little up and down, but decent. It's the run fits with him, bro. His run fits be bad.
Yeah. But if they put him at corner, they need another safety there.
Still need a safety. Like they have him listed as a nickel, so I wonder if he's actually going to play the nickel. What about the receiver room in Jacksonville? You good?
Gabe Davis, Zay Jones, Christian Kirk. It's decent. They got Parker Washington too, another guy I like. So
Parker Washington. Okay.
Yeah, right. I think the receiver room is fine. They drafted Anton Harrison last season at tackle. I think offensive line is something they could improve upon as well. But the DBs it's an eyesore, man. So I'm gonna go get another DB here. And I'm gonna go get a real safety, our safety one, Tyler Nubin here for the Jaguars.
All right. That takes us to Denver. You went Byron Murphy in the first round, traded down, acquired Byron Murphy, and added a second-round pick here.
That's what we did, man. You took Bo Nix is still on the board right there, Drew?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I'm going to go get some Bo Nix, man. Let's add some competition here with Zach Wilson here, and let's run it, man. Let the best man win.
Pause.
Which one? Which one I'm pausing?
You said you were going to get you some Bo Nix. So I'm saying pause.
I guess, bro. A little stress, bro.
Oh, man.
Yeah, let's pause it.
Oh, boy. Finley is on the clock. Pete's trying to get back into the second round. I think Green Bay is comfortable sitting with their 2/3 and pair of fours. I think they're comfortable.
What were they looking for is my question.
Well, I mean, obviously, that's the question, right? They made 2 selections in this 2-round mock draft, so I think they're okay. And they were able to acquire Terrion Arnold while they were at it.
All
right.
Philly. Let's see. You think I'm a linebacker here?
Could do a linebacker.
I think one of these picks should be linebacker. Let's do Jeremiah Trotter.
The bloodline.
Just had the conversation about the linebacking position. It's a 3rd-ranked linebacker, so Trotter Jr. it is. All right. Pittsburgh.
Got the corner. The biggest need is, I think, a tackle or wide receiver. The tackle position, they have Broderick Jones. They could probably move him to the left side. There go you, boy.
They say this is the surprise first-round pick. That's what they're saying.
Patrick Paul?
That's what I'm hearing. That's what I'm hearing, bro. That pass pro, bro, he got it. They say he got it, bro.
What you think about that, Drew? You just surprised?
I mean, I guess Pittsburgh's not going to run the football, bro. So,
what I'm saying, my point is that I'm just talking about in terms of the league in general, bro. We are expecting a bit of a run at the tackle position.
Right. So he may go because of that.
He could go a little bit earlier, bro. And it seemed like Kansas City, bro.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
Come on, bro.
First round. Now I'm
think
gonna go.
Yeah.
I'm gonna go wide receiver here for Pittsburgh. You just lost Deontay Johnson, a guy that could win quickly. So I'm gonna go with my guy Lad McConkey here. I'll put him in the slot. Yeah, good old Lad, man. Put him next to
Good
George
old
Pickens.
Lad. All right, Rams on the clock. They had the good
Rams.
fortune of selecting Dallas Turner in the first round.
On the clock. Let's grab Chris Jenkins right here, bro.
I like it. I like
that. It's a good fit. And the Phillies back on the clock. Go over to tackle. Let me just see what's cracking there. Is that the Patrick Paul pick? That's the question, right? Because let me see. Where you at, Philly? Where you at? Get my lot out there. Ooh. But you'd have to kick him over. Nah, we're not doing that. Let's do. Let's see.
Getting aggressive. Thinking the Rams getting aggressive here.
Yeah, their team to trade up.
Yeah. We were talking about them potentially the Bengals moving up with Denver. You know what I'm saying? Something like that. Come on, Drew.
I got to do the right thing, bro. I got to think through it, man.
Do it for Marina, man.
I'm gonna take my head off. I do the wrong
Sands.
thing, bro. I'm gonna be safe here.
You lost Marina
Trotter.
and Jeremiah Trotter.
With Trotter? I mean, it is what it is.
Man, you might have lost that Kool-Aid, bro. Ain't no telling.
Hey man, well I'm a really loser here, bro. We're going Troy Franklin. Just try. Not sure when Roman Wilson. It's fine though. It's fine.
All right.
We're gonna get on the clock.
Hey, is Michael Hall still on the board?
Yes, sir.
Let's go grab him right here. I think that's where Cleveland needs to address, man. 3-tech pass rusher.
Mm-hmm.
Miami Dolphins. We got JPJ. I think the trenches on the other side of the football. You lost your boy.
Christian Wilkins.
There you go. I was waiting for you, bro. Christian Wilkins there. God. You know, I'm going to go with my guy, man. I'm going to go with Rook Aurora to the Miami Dolphins. Aurora. Christian Wilkins replacement. I think he's the second round guy.
Oh, man.
All right, we're going to go. I want to do something crazy and go. Let's go Patrick Paul right there. Lock him in right now.
All right. That keeps Tyler Smith at guard.
Yes, sir. And then for the Bucky Bucks.
Let's draft the safety.
No, let's go TJ Tampa.
Got the corner.
Yeah,
you got the corner.
I don't hear nothing, bro. I don't hear nothing. Why do they say that Seattle needs a tackle, bro? The Boys don't need no tackle. They got both of their solid.
No, they don't. I don't know what that's about. Unless there's an injury that I'm forgetting about.
Yeah.
Mr. Seabrasky, A. Lucas, Cross, they healthy? Somebody hurt? What's going on?
I heard a word, bro.
I know the guard. I know they need a guard.
Check edge real quick. I think Chris Braswell's the top edge there. I got Nealon. Let's go. Let's go Braylon Trice, bro.
Braylon Trice.
Yeah, that's that Washington connection right there.
Houston on the clock. We got Braden Fisk, FSU bias. We're going to stay in the state, man. We're going to go stay in the state. We're going to go get Cam Kinchins from Miami. That free safety allowed Jalen Petrie to play more in the box where I like him. So I like that combination there. Reading the comments right now.
Got to go.
Tampa to Tampa. He said, I got to go. Damn, Scotty.
Scotty, Rook's a good player, man. It's not sexy, but Rook's a good player.
I don't like Rook. Man, Rook is that man.
Yeah.
The
He is.
beast.
Because it
Come
ain't
on.
sexy.
You talk about Dorless and Michael Hall. I think Rook's the next guy after that, man. Where just gonna do the dirty work.
I like Dwayne Carter a lot though. He's growing on me, bro.
Yeah.
Late push for Dwayne Carter, bro. Yeah.
All right, we're going wide receiver, bro. We're going wide receiver.
Roman or Polk or Corley.
We're gonna get Jalen Polk here for the Buffalo Bills.
8-1, bro.
Like it. All right. Let me get is Nealon still on the board, bro?
He is.
Yep.
Oh, that worked out nicely.
Yes, sir.
That worked out nicely.
The Ravens got Chot Robinson, the edge rusher. So we don't get the wide receiver here.
Scotty
to add next to Zay Flowers.
Scotty said, I'm used to the disappointment. I'm born in it, molded by it. Long time Fins fan. Long time Fins fan, man.
Man, Drew blew it, man. Yo, I love these guys firing back right here, man.
Well, I ain't got a comment.
You say you blew it, bro. Mr. C say you blew it, bro.
Why? Because I went and got who did I get? I don't even remember who I got.
Braylon Trice, bro. Braylon Trice.
Oh, he don't like the Braylon Trice guy.
It was the Washington connection. That's all it was. That was it. I didn't blow it. That's how y'all roll out there. In the Washington.
I'm going wide receiver here for the Ravens, man. Let me see the wide receivers.
Yo, be right on the bus.
You got Zay Jones.
Roman Wilson, bro. Roman Wilson.
Drew,
yeah.
Are you tapping, Drew? Are you tapping?
Nah, moving.
All right. Yeah, something's tapping.
Yeah, I'm gonna go Roman Wilson here for the Ravens. I love him, man. I think he could get open all day for Lamar Jackson. More weapons in the middle of the field, man. Inside out in Baltimore.
All right, 2 more picks here.
All right. Let's
Scotty,
go.
I think Miami needs to think about trading down.
Gather some picks.
Yeah, they need to recoup some draft capital. Then they definitely need to trade down, either in the first or the second.
Can you go to tackle real quick? Like for sure. Can you go to interior O-line?
Christian Haynes, baby.
Yeah, let's do that. Let's get that Christian Haynes.
All right, final pick in our final mock draft of 2024.
Yeah, we got Marius Mims with a 32nd pick to shore that up. Now we need a wide receiver for Kansas City. Yeah, that Malachi Corley right there, man. I think that's a perfect fit for the Chiefs. Just that physicality after the catch. So let's go get Malachi with Patrick Mahomes. Hopefully, Rasheed Rice suspension is not too big, so we can pair them up together for the Chiefs.
All right, Malachi Corley.
It's gonna be on 4. Unfair.
Mr. Irrelevant. Baker.
Yo.
Yeah, Javon Baker?
Yeah. I was thinking Javon Baker. Yeah. That's what I was thinking.
On the outside?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, I got Malachi a little higher on my rankings.
All right, quick scroll through. Here's the damage Headley and Drew did. Got the Raiders trading up, as well as the Vikings to get their quarterbacks. We had 5 quarterbacks in the first 6 selections. I think the probably the biggest fall here was Jared Verse going 24th overall. Xavier Worthy to Detroit, man. Drew said it was my fault. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Spencer Rattler, close to the top of the second round here. Heather, you opted for Spencer Rattler over Bo Nix there. All right. I think the Jordan Morgan pick in Green Bay here makes a lot of sense. I view him as a guard, but I'm okay with starting him out at tackle, see if that sticks. Doorless to the Chargers. You gotta pay respects to the Doorless. All right. Good stuff, gentlemen. Let's get back into your rankings. All right. And we're going to finalize our final stream prior to the 2024 NFL Draft with your edge rankings. Speaking of edges, and where are we here? There we go. At edge 15, Headley, you have Javon Solomon. And Drew, you have Xavier Thomas. Why don't you get us started, Headley?
Javon Solomon from Troy, 6'1", 246 edge. Tallahassee's finest right there, Juice.
Here we
Your
go.
hometown. Javon Solomon, he led the FBS with sacks, 16 sacks.
Hey, easy on that hometown stuff. I went to high school there, bro. Easy on that hometown stuff, bro. Easy.
You grew up there, bro. How long did you live there?
Bro, listen to me. Easy on that hometown stuff, bro.
What ages were you living in Tallahassee?
Listen to me. Listen to me.
Most
of my childhood. Most of my childhood, bro.
But it's not home, though.
No, it's not home, bro.
Not home. I got you. But yeah, let's go to Solomon, where Juice grew up. Is that better? He led the FBS in sacks, 16. Big time production throughout his college career. You know, they lined him up all over that line, 5, 4-eye, but at the next level, he's a 3-4 outside linebacker, stand-up guy, get after the quarterback, bend the edge. Love his hands, very active, relentless, always to the quarterback. He has a speed and agility to win as a pass rusher, but I think the run game is what teams are going to be looking at for him to improve upon due to his lack of size and length. He does have good motor and fight in the run game, but that arm length, I think that's what's going to hamper him in the run game a little bit. I love his inside move when the tackles kind of overplay him because he could bend the edge or he could come inside if guys overset. So, but the lean, the intensity that you're looking for, pass rusher all day. I like his hand moves, the usage, the two-hand swipe, the cross chop, the rip. He has all that in his arsenal. Quick twitch, great pad level. Javon Solomon, edge 15.
All right, Drew and Xavier Thomas.
Make sure I was on mute. Xavier Thomas, I have can play the 3-4 edge, 4-3 edge. Let me rephrase that. I'm sorry. 3-4 outside linebacker or 4-3 edge. He played both with his hand in the ground and standing up. I thought he was better with standing up, just coming off, being able to use his speed to power. He reminds me a little bit of ZTF in terms of when he reaches the offensive lineman, he has that spider attack that I like to call it, that quicks to power to kind of throw the offensive lineman off balance. Can beat you with his speed. I think that's his best tool in the toolbox for him. Explosive with a quick first step. Appears to be strong at the point of attack. Got here, but for him to be more effective and more often, he has to make contact first. And he can position himself to win that block if he's able to do that quickly and effectively. Because he can kind of disengage or just all out just have the offensive lineman whiff because he's moving so fast. But the biggest issue with him obviously is those medicals. That's kind of why I have him sitting at 15 because of the medical piece of it. Best ability is availability. I think Mr. Prasky said that earlier. So
this is how you end it. So
he's 15, bro. He said like you say, bro.
He's 15.
And I ain't talking about the party, bro. You know what I'm saying?
Man. Scotty, I mean, that's the only good part about Tallahassee's education, man.
Damn.
That's the best part.
No, it's some other stuff for Tallahassee. Hey. I've been there.
Oh man. All right, moving on to edge number 14.
Y'all boys
here.
wild, bro.
We got Mo Kamara and Chris Braswell. Let's get it started with Braswell, Drew.
Yeah, he's an interesting study to me. I got here. What I got here? It was the things he was asked to do at Bama. He was what I like to call the crash test dummy. Essentially, he was just kind of the guy when they ran those games up front was to cause a bunch of what? That's funny, bro. The crash.
He took one of the comments, man.
Oh, my Altoids. What them boys at? I got them, bro. Where they at, bro? Hold on.
Nah, the Altoids ain't from Tally. No, those are from Brandon, Florida. The Altoids are from Brandon, Florida.
No, it's Tampa. We
Tampa proper.
Yeah, man. Come on.
Nebraska.
Nebraska. Off of Nebraska. You know about it? They got some funny stuff over there on Nebraska. But no, Braswell, he was the crash test dummy. He was the guy that just kind of run in there, cause a bunch of havoc, try to free guys up. And he played that 3-4 outside linebacker. I think he has heavy hands. I think he contains the edge very well. I think he's strong at the point of attack. I think he could also drop back into coverage, play some zone, sit in the lanes, make the quarterback think a little bit longer than they want to. I got here. He has to develop more moves though, and I think this is not his fault. I think it's just what he was asked to do. They kind of just put him in this box and said, "Hey, this is what we want you to do," and so you never really saw him kind of turn that over, right? We saw that from Dallas Turner on the other side, who was able to turn it over, but I don't necessarily think you saw that with Chris Braswell. So I think there's plenty of meat left on the bone for him there. I just think that it's going to take some time to see what those things are. And I think it was a force in the run game as well.
Yeah, so most would say you're a bit too low on Chris Braswell here, but I think throughout most of the process, we've been on the lower side as it relates to Braswell, and I wonder why that is. Is it because of the way he was deployed, and you just didn't necessarily see certain things that you'd like to see?
Yeah, I mean, there were times where he could have, he had an opportunity to rush the passer or just had the single one-on-one, and he didn't really beat his guy because it was more about, power of the power game versus, hey, let me see what else. Have you been able to set up this guy across from you? Like,
right,
none of that.
Right.
I didn't see any of that. It was just straight power with him. So, yeah.
All right, Mo Kamara, Heather.
Yeah, I think Mo Kamara and Javon Solomon are similar in the size. He's 6'1", 248. Also had big time production like Solomon, but they still have the same concerns with arm length and what they do in the run game. But I think Mo Kamara wins more with power, while Solomon is more of the speed guy. But Kamara has a twitch, and he kind of slithers through the line of scrimmage. He can stand up or hand in the ground. But I think he's another guy that's probably going to be a 3-4 outside linebacker. He has the ability to take a shot and it kind of bounce off blocks, always moving forward. He has a really good power profile. So I think he'll hold up in the run game more than the Javon Solomon. He has heavy hands. He can stack and shed. And he has that motor. He just keeps coming. He's going to be a hard block for 60 minutes in a football game because he has a good blend of speed and power. He's fighting through contact, outstanding effort, that rip move. You see it on film time after time. And, that speaks to his strength to rip through the offensive lineman's hands and get to the backfield. Smart, instinctive. He can sniff out that screen game really well. Big time production. I have 30+ sacks in 5 seasons there at Colorado State. Had 13 in 2023. But he has this 32-inch arm length. So, that's going to be probably why he slides down the board a little bit. And he's not really one of those bendy kind of edges that's going to get around the apex and kind of contort his body. He kind of wins with power, motor, and physicality. And like I said, I think he'd be a stand-up outside linebacker at the next level.
Do we think Kamara's arms are so short that it's a problem?
He's really good in combat with his arms, like that power game. He's ripping through. So he uses it really well. So that's why I think he holds up better in the run game than say like a Solomon. I think Solomon might struggle in the run game more, but I like how Kamara uses his hands, especially when he gets it inside the pads. Man, he's very physical at the point of attack.
So I want to just put it in perspective. Latu's arm length is 32 inches and 5/8. Kamara is 32 and 3/8. I know there are going to be certain teams that are like, okay, his arms aren't as long as we'd like them to be, but I don't know that it's a glaring issue necessarily. With
I agree.
Kamara. Gotcha. All right.
I agree with you.
Dana, your comment here regarding Braswell, that's just what they do at Alabama. We have Will Anderson playing 4-eye predominantly, right? A guy that could clearly get after the passer in a myriad of ways. His production, despite it being very good, certainly that last season took a step back because of the amount of 4-eye that he had them playing. So it does make it a bit of a challenge to kind of project exactly what kind of player they'd be if you take the reins off of them. All right, we move on to your 13th ranked edge in the 2024 NFL draft class. Headley, you have Xavier Thomas. Drew, I believe he came in at 15 for you. And I know Manuel he mentioned Jonah Ellis. That's a guy that he really likes. He figures to have an eye on Ellis for the Rams here. Let's start with Ellis, Drew. Let's talk about Jonah Ellis.
Yeah, Jonah, I got here. He's a guy who will beat you with his feet before his hands, and when he has both working, then he becomes unblockable. Has a nice spin move to boot. Thought he was more adequate in the run game for the most part, but he's the kind of guy who will go under blocks, or kind of sidestep blocks rather than go through the block or stack, hold and shed, and then make the play. Does have pace in terms of his pass rush, so he can kind of fool the unsuspecting offensive lineman, and then again goes back to him winning with his feet before his hands. Not that he doesn't use his hands, but some guys, will use their feet, kind of give you a shimmy shake, a head shake, something like that to kind of, set up the offensive lineman and then use their hand versus using your hands first, like a Braswell, and then, go with your feet. And he's a high energy, high motor guy. There's a lot of plays that'll run down that are well past him. And he's made a lot of plays doing that. So
there you go. So yeah, there with the
so
he's number 13.
Well, he's number 13.
There you go.
What you got on Xavier Thomas, Headley?
6'2", 244. I think people have forgotten about this guy. Former 5-star recruit. Dealt with injuries at Clemson, so I think people forgot about him. But man, the way he fires off the ball with his active hands, uses that speed to power, he kind of knocks offensive linemen's back to the quarterback. He's just a fireball off the edge. Those feet, it keeps moving. That motor just keeps running. They kind of use him all over the alignment, standing him up, put his hand in the ground, 4-eye. I even sent him a little bit at 3-tech, shows his versatility. But, at the next level for me, he's a 3-4 outside linebacker. To stand him up, especially those wide, if you have a wide 9 defense, those wider alignments, I think he's really good on those wider alignments where you can get that runway. So teams that implement that, I think they would love Xavier Thomas. He's switched up. You can see him beat tackles on that inside move. So if people is trying to tackles trying to overset him a little bit, he can come back inside and use that rip move to get to the quarterback. I think he does a really good job of setting up offensive linemen on the edge. And the run game, that's where he's going to face some questions as well, some concerns as well, because, when teams run at him, he could get kind of stuck on blocks a little bit. But I like him in the run game, chasing it down from the backside because of that motor to get to the backside. He has that burst and bend. And like I said, he's a 5-star guy, stand-up outside linebacker. I think wherever he goes in the draft, he's going to be a steal for teams looking for a pass rusher, man. I really like Xavier Thomas from Clemson, edge 13 for me.
What do you think of this comp? What do you think of this comp? And maybe don't think about it. It's difficult not to think about it in the manner in which I'm about to say. Trent Cole, when Philly was in that wide 9 alignments, you know what I'm saying? Explosiveness off the edge. Do you think there are any parallels there, as you recall Trent Cole?
Yeah, definitely. A guy that could bend the edge, get around. He was a little undersized as well, right?
Right.
Undersized edge rusher. So yeah, it's some parallels there. So a team that can use Xavier Thomas like that, I think he could be a guy to get 8+ sacks for your football team.
All right. Let's keep it going here. Edge number 12. Hadley, Chris Braswell checks in as your 12th ranked edge. And Drew, you have Austin Booker out of Kansas. Hadley, you start us off with Braswell.
Yeah, Braswell, at first, I wasn't really a big fan of him initially. He just didn't flash enough in the Alabama system. And he didn't really get on the field to this last season. He was behind guys like Will Anderson, Dallas Turner. So he finally got his opportunity here this last season. And at the Senior Bowl is when I really started to appreciate him more because just this rugged speed to power guy. He's very hard to contain. Like, you're not blocking him for too long because of his speed to power and just his fight once he gets, entangled with the offensive lineman. He kind of breaks loose eventually. So I do like that strength through contact, the rip move to disengage, get around the edge, but he's not really one of those bendy guys. He does it more with power. That long arm, you see it on tape where he used that long arm all the way to the quarterback, shows his strength there. I think you got to create opportunities for him. He's a guy that a defensive coordinator we need to look at and say, we're going to run this stunt. He's going to come from the end and come inside the tackle, or vice versa. Just you got to kind of put him in a situation to kind of maximize his potential. Not just, okay, we're just going to rush you off the edge every play. You got to be more creative with a Braswell, in my opinion. They asked him to drop back in short zone at times. He's kind of fluid there. I think both of these Alabama guys has the ability to drop back in the zone. And he has that closing speed to chase down the quarterback. So once he gets going, and he can close really well to the quarterback. So, like I said, I really appreciated him more and more, especially at the Senior Bowl and what he can bring to a football team, because he's a physical guy off the edge.
All right, Drew. Austin Booker, another Senior Bowl participant.
Austin Booker, this is the guy that Tyler Guyton said, I had asked him, hey, did anybody give you any trouble, any memorable? Well, first of all, he said nobody gave him trouble. Yeah. But is anybody memorable that he remembered? And he said Austin Booker was that guy because he's
unorthodox.
Unorthodox. Yeah, I was gonna say odd, but unorthodox. And so when you watch the tape, he is unorthodox. The first thing that I noticed when watching him wasn't actually that he was unorthodox, but it was is that he usually will make contact with the offensive lineman first, getting his arms out. They're violent. He will, and he can throw the offensive lineman off balance when he does get those hands on the offensive lineman, gets them on that chest, or gets them. Sometimes he'll get it on their shoulder pads, and just the way he strikes them, can kind of send them, kind of back on their heels. And he does this with, and this may be the unorthodox, but I'm not really sure because I probably should have dug into it when he had said that. But he does this. He has this thing where he'll come off extremely explosive around the corner, beat the guy off the corner or to their spot, and head to the quarterback to the ball carrier. And then there's times where he's very slow and patient, and then he'll strike you. So I think he is a nice balancing act when he's doing that, right? So I think that offensive linemen are not necessarily knowing what's coming based on what he's doing. He keeps the offensive lineman off balance. I think he can contain and hold the edge consistently because of the arms and getting it out there and extending his arms and just waiting for whatever the rush is, whether it's inside or outside. He's the type of guy who can make that play. And Austin Booker, he's going to be intriguing because I wonder how teams are going to view him. Because I think he can play the 3-4 outside. I think that's probably his best is going to be his main role, is 3-4 outside linebacker, because he did stand up. He did put his hand in the ground too. He did both. So it would be interesting to see how they see him. And he has some bend and explosiveness as well.
34-inch arms. So
them boys long.
Yeah, them boys. I think he's one of those players that has a chance to go a bit earlier than I think what we're anticipating.
Because of them traits.
Yeah, for sure. Edge number 11 here, Jonah Ellis and Mo Kamara. So two players that we've talked about previously that you guys are higher on one versus the other here. Hadley, your thoughts on Jonah Ellis?
Yeah, Jonah Ellis really, when I first got eyes on him, was that UCLA game. And he took that game over. So if you want to find a tape of just Jonah Ellis dominating, you throw on a UCLA tape. They had to throw a tight end over there to kind of help block him on the edge, and it still wasn't good enough. He blew that game open for those guys. What I like about him is he uses his hands really well to win around the edge. A lot of counter moves. He always looks like he has a plan. So when the tackle does one move, he has an answer for it. So he has like the answers for all the tests at all times. So, really love the hands of Jonah Ellis. And that spin move, probably the best spin move in the class. I've seen him spin multiple times to get sacks, especially in that UCLA game. Did it over and over. Great burst, great motor, keep hunting. There's a play, he hustled 20 yards down the field on a running back. It was 3rd and 27. So, and the running back broke. And Jonah Ellis, just with his motor, got down there and stopped him to set up a 4th down. Also, the last drive of that game, multiple sacks and pressures to close it out. He's not the biggest or strongest guy. So when blockers get hands on him, he could get stalled out. But I love his energy and effort. So even if he gets stalled out, he's always showing great energy, always showing great effort to kind of disengage from those blocks. He wins quickly, like I said, with hand usage upon first contact. And he's a guy I had to move up. I think I had him originally at 15. And I'm like, I'm too low on this guy, man, because pass rushing wins at the next level, production wins at the next level. And he showcased both of that, the production at Utah, especially that last season in 2023. And then he just has a plethora of pass rushing moves, swipe, spin, rip. He does it all with his hands. So the hands, the motor, the intensity, it just seems like a guy that's going to just stick around the league for a while, man. So really like Jordan Ellis here at edge 11.
All right, Drew, your thoughts on Mo Kamara?
Yeah, I know Headley was talking about him earlier. He can convert his speed to power in an instant. Oftentimes is I know we're talking about his arms. I thought he was never outlet, or not never. I'm not gonna say not never, but majority of the time I thought he was not out leveraged and was able to hold up in the run game consistently and make plays consistently, or at least throw his offensive lineman into the running back coming around the corner or trying to squeeze down a hole. I thought he defended that very well. He does play with an extremely super high motor. He's similar to Jonah Ellis in terms of making plays beyond where the play started down the line, down the field consistently. Extremely productive, as we know. And I got here. Yeah, I got that there. And then I thought there was a lot of how do I want to say this? It was kind of similar to what Chris Braswell does, which is that speed to power, that quicks to power with and you would add that quicks to the quick violent hands.
It's violence, bro. With Mo Kamara, it's violence, bro.
It's violence, bro. And he also has that plan of succession, right? So, and I think Headley talked about when Jonah Ellis in terms of that counter move, right? Okay, you do this, I'm going to do this. And then you do this, I'm going to do that. Like he's always thinking, he's always moving. And if he doesn't win that way, he's going to win with the high motor. So I can see why he has a lot of production. And I don't know, man. Maybe I should have him higher, man. Maybe I don't know. Looking at what I got, I couldn't put him higher than what he is. And I thought sending a tight end over there blocking, because teams did that a lot. I don't know what they were thinking. That was a nightmare for them. It didn't make sense, bro.
I think that bolstered those sack numbers a little bit. And I like Mo Kamara. I'm not trying to take anything away from him, but it was a bad.
But like they sent the tight end over there with no help. It wasn't like it's just dumb, bro. Most of the time, if you send a tight end over there, it's with the tackle, bro. Like or a running back.
Maybe they're thinking, man, he's 245. We'll throw the tight end out here. We'll be all right. Maybe. Yeah. No. Yeah, I like this comment here. You got comments for your counters, absolutely. Mm-hmm. And Mrs. Brasky, you're right. It's not much of a difference, but it's a game of inches, though.
Yeah.
The NFL is truly a game of inches, and half an inch to an inch can make a huge difference.
It's like boxing, man. That reach, an inch or a half an inch, it's big, man. Especially at the next level, these tackles with those 36-inch arms, and you got the 32-inch arms. It's like it's going to be hard.
All right, let's keep it going here. We move to your 10th ranked edge, respectively. Headley, you have Marshawn Nealon out of Western Michigan, and Drew, you have Javon Solomon. So let's wrap up our conversation along the lines of Solomon, and then we'll talk about Nealon. Go ahead, Drew.
Yeah, I got really good at not allowing offensive linemen to get clean shots on his hands or his chest. Good at good initial push at the point of attack. He has good hands that are heavy and hard to get under control by the offensive lineman. So because he's always moving and not allowing them to get any piece of him, and it made it really difficult. And I think that's why obviously he's got the production that he has. It's just hard to get that dude under control, so you can do what you're supposed to do as the offensive lineman. Uses moves in succession, I thought, but often wins with the first move majority of the time. And that's probably due, again, the production. He also closes quickly, and he stood up and he put his hand in the ground. So that speaks to him being able to play that 3-4 outside linebacker or that 4-3 edge. And he can drop back into coverage and cover those lanes. Don't necessarily want him covering anybody running down the football field, but in zone coverage, I think he's not a liability when doing that.
Let me ask you both a question regarding Solomon before we move on. What did you think about his performance in Mobile with the step up in competition? Well, in the competition, obviously, we got some tackles here that we're going to hear their names in the first couple of days of this draft that were there facing those guys. What did you think of Solomon's ability? Did you think he got better throughout the week? What are your thoughts?
So I remember when watching him, I thought that, I talked here in terms of, him having moves in succession. I thought that watching him at Mobile, I don't think that actually showed up. I thought he stalled out.
Yeah.
And I'm not gonna say he had a bad week in Mobile. It wasn't a bad or good week. It's kind of one of those.
He didn't wow. He didn't wow. He didn't wow. Yeah.
It was, I don't think he hurt himself either. So I think it was just kind of one of those. Okay, just but I, that's kind of where I'll lay with it there.
What about you, Heather? Your thoughts?
I agree. I agree with Drew on that one, because he wasn't a guy who was like, okay, it wasn't consistent with him. Like you said, he didn't wow out there. You're expected to see a lot more, especially what he did on tape. But, when you go to the Senior Bowl, you're playing against better competition, and guys are bigger, they're longer, they're more agile, they're quicker. So I just don't think he dominated like he did in college. But he showed some moves also. So like I said, it wasn't a dud, but it wasn't like any wild moves or consistency all week for Javon Solomon.
It's going to be a transition for all of these players, but I think with the likes of Solomon, I think it'd probably be a little bit steeper. So you got to exercise a little bit more patience with him, right? Exercise a little bit more patience, and then you can be rewarded. Dana actually alluded to it earlier. She believes he can add some additional strength, size to that frame. You know what I'm saying? That'll make him a little bit more difficult to deal with, as well as he refines his technique, gets better at his craft. So something to keep an eye on there. Another guy from the group of five here, Marshawn Nealon. He certainly raised eyebrows in Mobile. Let's talk about him, Headley.
Nah, he did. He pops off the screen. Like, as soon as you put eyes on him, Big 99, it's just the dog, and you see the untapped talent. Those one-on-ones, I thought he was made for those one-on-ones due to his physicality, his burst, his speed to power. So when I threw on the tape, I was expecting more dominance. I didn't really see it, what he did at Senior Bowl on tape. They used him a lot, 5-tech, utilizing speed to power to wreak havoc. He brings pads to the party, utilized with hand in the ground, or they stand them up. They use him a plethora of ways over there, man, at Western Michigan. You see him line up over the A gap, the B gaps, and rush from the interior there. I think he plays with physicality and effort. But I do think he needs to gain more additional pass rushing moves. He needs more tools in the toolbox, and because he uses that hammer a lot, and he just got to add those secondary, tertiary moves, because his pop in his hands is for real. Like, you could see it. Once he extends those hands and go forward, it's powerful. One thing I did see on tape also, I'm not sure. I always look at it, I'm like, is this what the coaches are teaching them, where they line up like a half yard off the line of scrimmage? It's not like on the line of scrimmage. So I always wonder if that's being coached at the collegiate level, or it's just him not realizing where he's on the field and not, getting closer to the line of scrimmage. So I always wonder that. I see that with some guys, especially in the Big 12. You see that a lot in the Big 12. But, his motor is for real. He keeps on coming. And I think with great, better coaching or good coaching at the next level, I think they can unlock his potential. As of right now, he's kind of a project to me, but I think he could grow into a great pass rusher, man, because that power, and edge rushers or defensive linemen, that's a position where that talent, that power, that speed, that could translate to the next level. Some other positions, like offensive line, I think you got to be more technically advanced coming in, or even like wide receiver, just setting up your guys, running your routes, being more technical savvy. But I think pass rushers, especially defensive ends, is something where you could be like, okay, I see the tools, and once I work on this guy could be a 10+ sack guy at the next level. And I think that's Marshawn Nealon, man. If he gets with the right coaching staff to get his untapped potential, he could be a beast at the next level.
And I think that's why you get some of that chatter about him being in that late first round discussion, pushing into the late first round, someone taking a chance on those physical tools. The other thing is, and I thought it was interesting, you mentioned he was deployed in a lot of different ways at Western Michigan. Braden Fisk, who transferred to FSU, was at Western Michigan. And then, of course, we view him as a three technique, purely as a three technique, right? But he played all over the line of scrimmage at Western Michigan. They had him on the edge. They had him at a 7 at times, 5 technique. So I'm not sure. I'm not sure exactly what the approach was. Perhaps they were just trying to be multiple and trying to, create some mismatches or whatever the case may be. But you saw a lot of guys being played maybe outside of their comfort zone, still competing, obviously, but being played outside of their comfort zone at Western Michigan as well. So something to keep in mind when you consider the likes of Fisk and Nealon here. We move on to your 9th-ranked edge rusher in the class. Drew, you actually have Nealon 1 spot higher than Headley. And Headley, you have Austin Booker a few spots higher than Drew did. Drew, let's talk about Nealon, and then we'll finish the conversation around Austin Booker.
Yeah, Headley talked about it in terms of him being, and you talked about it in terms of him being played all over the place over there, and he reminds me of, and I think I said this before. He reminds me of Carl Brooks from Bowling Green. I think that was last year. Mm-hmm. I don't think he's as violent or as disruptive as Carl Brooks was, but it's like on a smaller scale, man. It might be Carl Brooks light. Let me go light.
He's smaller than Carl Brooks.
Yeah, he's smaller than Carl Brooks. So,
sure.
But you can imagine what you could do with him, and I think his power, them hands. If you can hone in on developing some pass rush moves, I think you might have a steal here, man. Because
is it a steal though? If he goes in the bottom of the first, is it a steal?
The bottom of the first?
Yeah.
Nah, it's not a steal if you go at the bottom of the first because you got to refine it, right? You got to mold it, you got to refine it. But is that what we're saying? He's going in the bottom of the first, or is that
like I said, there's some chatter, there's some talks along those lines.
Okay. All right. So any I say anywhere from say middle of the second round or lower. I think it's a steal.
Gotcha.
Because of his versatility, because of his violent hands, because of his explosive at the snap, he can convert that speed to power. He can push offensive linemen back into the quarterback's lap. He can disrupt play designs in terms of the run. You just have to refine him, man. I'm gonna leave it there because I'm about to say some craziness.
I thought you were gonna hit it with the so.
No. I'm gonna leave it there. I'm gonna leave it there. No so.
Austin Booker.
Yeah, this guy's quick twitch, edge rusher, and I put unorthodox rushing style, which catches blockers by surprise. So it was funny to hear that Tyler Guyton said he was unorthodox because that's exactly what he is. He plays with his hand in the ground or standing up, but I think he's a 3-4 outside linebacker at the next level. I like his stop ability. He can contort his body around the edge. Size might not allow him to hold up in the run game, but that 34-inch arms, he could use it to help in the run game as well. So, he has the ability to disengage because of those hands. So he can hold up in the run game, but you do see him sometimes getting engulfed in the run game. Maybe got to get a little stronger there, but man, I love his spin move, man. You talked about Jonah Ellis spin move. This is another guy with a great spin move. Got the 2-hand slap to keep blockers off of him. And like I said, even though he's undersized, those 34-inch arms really helps him in the run game. I think he's a little bit upright sometimes, which limits his bending, but there's reps where, he dips his shoulder and bends around the edge. So he has it in his arsenal. And I think he gets better once he gets his momentum. Once he gets that full head of steam and gets that momentum and get those 34-inch arms out there, and he can really bend the edge and get to the quarterback. And he uses his quicks and twitch to elude blockers on the way to the ball carrier. I thought he performed really well at the Senior Bowl. I think Austin Booker was one of the best pass rushers out there. And, he's a guy that has a plan and is very unorthodox. Like, you're not expecting him to do a certain move, and then he just do it on you. And then you'd be like, where did that come from? So he leaves offensive tackles guessing at times. Like, what is he going to do next? And, with that wide array of pass rusher moves, I could see him holding up like a Jonah Ellis. He reminds me like a Jonah Ellis, be a 3-4 outside linebacker for a lot of years to come.
What's the missing ingredient here with Austin Booker, right? Why isn't he more of a fringe top 5 guy, considering the fact that he presents some unique challenges from a pass rush perspective, has the flexibility to play with his hand in the ground or stand up. You mentioned he was one of the better pass rushers in Mobile. Mm-hmm. What's kind of depressing his value in your eyes?
It's the run game. It's what he does in the run game. He could get bodied. He could get thrown out the way. So he's the kind of guy that has to kind of win quickly. I think the 34-inch arms helps him a little bit in the run game, but it's still
it mitigates.
It's still he's an average. Yeah, he's an average run defender at best. He's average at best in the run game. So I think that's what kind of has him at edge 9.
What do you think about his initial burst?
He has good bursts. Yeah, it's not top end burst.
Sure.
It's not some of these guys ahead of him, but I think he's okay at burst. I just think his arms and his ability to bend the edge and contort his body and just unorthodox style.
Stuff,
that's what gets him there. I think he can get a little stronger and just be more physical. I think that's what will help him stick around the league a lot longer.
All right. Let's keep it going here. Edge 8, you guys are in agreement. It's one of the Murphy brothers here. Gabriel Murphy. I'll start with you.
Gabriel Murphy. Yeah, this is a guy. He's gotten better, man. I'm not sure if it's the defensive line coach over there at UCLA. I'm not sure if it's just Latu taking him under his wing. Like, we got to do some more research on why his hands are so great, because you watch that Washington State game and he was heating up Cam Ward play after play, and they used him all along the defensive line. And sometimes you can't even tell the difference between him and his brother, because they kind of move him around. You saw them line him up, one guy in a 3-point stance one time and then stand the rest of the rushers up over the center. So he does kind of that Micah Parsons thing also, where he's standing up in that A gap and you just never know where he's rushing from. He uses his quickness and hand usage to avoid those blockers on the interior. Those guards and centers, they can't keep up with him, man. He's just too quick twitch, and he uses his hands really well to elude those guys. They rush him on the edge also. I think he has really good hand usage, like I said, to avoid blocks. I think they're putting in time over there at UCLA. Shifty, great feet and hands, stand-up edge with the ability to fall back in coverage. So he also has the ability to fall back in coverage, man. He's a very versatile edge rusher for UCLA. They put him inside. I think if he doesn't win early on the inside, he can kind of get bullied and taken for a ride. That game against Oregon State, against Fuaga. Fuaga kind of really got his hands on him and bullied him and threw him off, into the second and third levels, man. But, he's technically savvy, like a Latu. And he did beat Fuaga with great hand usage around the outside. So that's where Fuaga struggles, and that's where Murphy got him. And then Fuaga got him more in the run game. So, he plays with an edge and attitude. I like Murphy a lot. I think he could be a steal. Third-round pick, man. I think he could be a steal in the third round for an NFL team.
All right.
Yeah, I think he's going to be a steal because they're not going to ask him to do some of the stuff that UCLA was asking him to do, some of the silly stuff. When you line him up in the A gap and got him going against guards and centers and getting double.
I like him doing that though.
Nah, bro. I don't
like it.
I don't like it, bro. And like you said, if you don't win early, it's over, bro. So unless the plan is, obviously, I guess the plan would be to win early. But we in the league now, bro. So I don't know that that's gonna work more often than not. I like him coming off the edge. I think he has a plan every single play. Like you said, in terms of these, the Murphy boys and Latu, in terms of that hand usage, bro. I think was it Mr. C. Prasky said that the
defensive line coach in Seattle?
Yeah, is it Seattle now? That's I think that's what he said. So he's kind of gone there, but in terms of setting offensive linemen up, having a plan every play, He was one of those guys on that football team. He did not overly sparky or anything like that. And it's nice to watch players and then they know themselves, right? And so they're not going to try to do things that don't match what they're about, right? So this isn't an overly sparky, fast, gonna cut around the corner, bend the edge, make the sack type of guy. No, I'm gonna beat you with savvy moves. I'm gonna beat you with my hand usage. I'm gonna set you up, make you think I'm doing one thing, then I'm gonna hit you with this, and I'm gonna, cut across your face, and I'm gonna make the sack or make the play. I think if again, I know Henley like to get cute with him. I think you can get cute, but I think more often than not, we don't need to be getting cute, man. I think he can drop back into coverage and cover guys down, not the way down the football field, but short to intermediate. I think that was the Huskies O-line coaches now. Oh, okay. My bad. I was wrong. Thank you, Mr. Chief Pastor. Clean that up. But I think he can play in the coverage game. I think he is a 3-4 outside linebacker because of that. So we need to look up who the D-line coach is for UCLA then. We got to find out what's going on with that guy.
Yeah, I'm not sure if it might be the D-line coach, but I think they all work out with the same trainer as well. They're on the West Coast, Latu and company. So got to keep an eye on that, get to the bottom of that. All right, moving on to edge number 7 here. Drew, you have Braylon Trice, and Headley, you have Adisa Isaac, and you actually have the opposite here at 6. So let's let both of you talk about Braylon Trice, and then both of you can have a conversation around Adisa Isaac. We'll start with you, Drew, on Braylon Trice.
Yeah, Braylon Trice is a true and true? That's how you say it. I'm gonna go with it. A true and true power edge player. He's not gonna beat you majority of the time. He can beat you with speed because he does have that, but that's not his game. It's gonna be the power edge, stand you up, control you, and then Olay swim move you. Again, he can beat you with the speed burst around the edge, but no, he's got the bull rush with the power that he can add. He does have a bit of patience, pace and variation that he can use against the offensive line to keep them off balance with that bull rush or at times that speed rush. But more often than not, it's going to be with the power. The issue that I had, and he can drop back in coverage as well. They did that a couple of times with him. But more often than not, I want him coming off of that edge. But the issue that I had with Braylon Trice is containing the edge, and that's both in run and pass, and that would piss me off, especially against quarterbacks that are running. Like everybody in the country knows this quarterback can run, but he sees to think that I can cut it over the face of the offensive lineman and give up the outside. And I've seen this numerous times to the point where you're just like, who's teaching this? Because he does it more often than you would think he would. Being one of the better pass rushers in the country, it has happened way too often. Or on screen passes where he just heading upfield. Like I ain't concerned about nothing. It's like he just forgets, kind of his responsibilities at times, and it's maddening, bro. It's absolutely maddening.
I would want to flesh that out because I hate to go there because I don't know the young man, but that could suggest selfishness, bro. That could be more than an awareness thing. That could just be selfishness that I'm gonna go make this play, right? Because I gotta eat. You understand what I'm saying? And guys gonna be out the back door. You know what I mean? And again, that's just a very extreme consequence or thought process there. So I don't know that. I'm not trying to substantiate that, but that's something that I would definitely through the interviews and would want to be able to flesh that out with Braylon Trice. Scotty Joe with the assist there. Tried and true. That's what we're looking for.
Tried and true.
Cognitive function is declining rapidly at this hour. Elliot, thoughts on Braylon Trice?
Yeah, I agree with everything you guys just laid out. You got like a one-track mind, and it's to get after the quarterback. It's to get upfield. In space, can't contain the edge. So if you're running against one of those zone read teams with those athletic quarterbacks, you fake the ball to the running back, he's going to take that bait every time. Quarterback's going to get around the edge. So you just got to just be more contained, contain it. Could have more containment out there, man. So that's his biggest issue. Other than that, I think he's a lot to deal with play after play due to his physicality. I think he uses his hands effectively. to attack the offensive lineman's hands. He kind of, had to slap it down. He got moves with his hands. He could go by you or through you with a bull rush. I think he's skilled enough to fall back in coverage, but like I said, you kind of don't want him in space that often because he doesn't break down well enough to make the tackles in the open field. That UCLA game, I always go back to that DCR game in 2022 in the fourth quarter in key moments. He just didn't contain the edge. I think he also improved from a more technical standpoint, add more pass rushing moves to him because he's more of a speed to power guy. He has violent hands. He's the type of player that crashed down and sacrificed his body for the second level guys to kind of clean up. Games up front, stunts and twists. I think that's where he wins a lot of the times. Just coming inside or going outside, just getting him on the move to the quarterback. I think he does that really well. And mano a mano physicality, he could beat you there with the speed to power. So he compiled a lot of pressures this last season. It just didn't really get the quarterback on the ground for the big sack production, but I think he led the league in total pressure. So it shows that he could penetrate, he could break down the pocket, get to the quarterback. It's just him breaking down. I don't think that's where that stop agility. I think that's where he kind of struggles a little bit, and
change of direction.
The athletic stuff, man, the agility to change the direction, and I think that's why he's going to fall down the board. And Isaac, another guy, he might go ahead of him because he's just more sound, especially in run defense than Brandon Trice.
Yeah, Isaac's a pretty complete player. Scotty Joe, this is the reason why we were talking about it during the mock draft. Why I think Miami needs to trade down. They need to trade down. They need to recoup some draft capital because I think they have some glaring needs on either side of the line of scrimmage. But to your point, with Phillips and Chubb with their injuries, you understand what I'm saying? You got to have a rotation. You got to have some additional pass rushers out there. I think they did bring in Drew's guy, Shaq Barrett. But of course, Shaq Barrett has dealt with injuries. He's getting closer to the end of his career. So I think it's a need. I think it's something that they actually will address, but they're going to have to add some draft capital because they got a lot of needs that they have to ultimately take care of in this draft here. So this is Isaac. Let's continue it with Isaac. You mentioned that he's a more complete player than Trice. What do you like about Isaac?
I love his hands. I love the way he's always leading with his hands. I think he displays physicality to shed blocks. He gets after it in the run game. And when I watched tape, that's what I was really impressed with Isaac about, just what he does in the run game. But the Senior Bowl did give me a little hope for what he can be as a pass rusher. He was able to beat some of those top tackles. Like you said, Fuaga, he beat a couple times at the Senior Bowl. So that's where I saw the pass rushing at the Senior Bowl. On tape, the pass rushing, I thought he could have more additional moves. I thought he was a little high. He didn't really play with that lean or bend to kind of bend the edge as a pass rusher. He did have a little twitchiness to elude blockers on the way to the ball carrier. I think he's a more linear than a bendy pass rusher. He has a really good tackle radius. There's a lot of times where, the running back wasn't even close to him, but he was able to use his hands and his arms to kind of push the lineman out of the way and get to the running back while being blocked. So, I do like his tackle radius. I think the instincts on the zone read, I think I had here he could contain the edge a little better. So I think he does it better than Trice. It's not as bad as Trice, but I think he could improve upon that. He did drop back in coverage some. Also, I think, like I said, pass rushing moves needs work in order to kind of unlock his true potential. In the Michigan game, they had tight ends trying to block him, and those were mismatches. You can't put a tight end on a decent Isaac. He's physical. He uses his hands too well. And like I said, he's coming right away and be helpful in a run game to fight through blocks and make a play, man. That's where I really like Isaac at the next level.
All right, Drew.
Yeah, that boy physical, bro. That boy setting that edge. You're looking for that guy who can set the edge, properly and teach tape. I think he's the guy that you want to look at. Them hands are violent, quick. He's controlling the offensive lineman from the word go or hut or set or whatever it is that you snapping the ball with, silent count, whatever it is. He's the guy making the contact, controlling that offensive lineman. Stacking and shedding, stack, hold, shed, whatever you want to call it, that he's doing there. Helly spoke about in terms of his pass rush ability, because that was kind of the that was kind of the thing that you wanted to see going into the Senior Bowl. I think we had talked about this in terms of what does that look like? How does he win in those one-on-ones? And I thought he in terms of the one-on-ones, I thought he gave good effort. Those reps against Fuaga, I thought that there were times where he used a couple of inside moves, but most of the time when he tried to beat him, it was try to go to the outside up and around Fuaga. And I think he won a couple of those, but I think he's going to have to develop some inside moves to be able to win consistently in terms of the pass rush. I think once he gets that though, you got as DJ and the boys would say, you got a dude. And I don't think it's going to take long for that to take place because his hands are already kind of where they need to be to get into place. Maybe we need to start talking about using his feet before his hands so we can mix things up. But once he gets it, bro, he going to do some damage, bro. He going to do some damage because he can come off that line of scrimmage quick, fast, and in a hurry. And he can convert that speed to power for sure.
Any thoughts on Dana's comment here? I was double checking to look up the detail.
More downs
game
that you
logs.
see. I saw him on field quite a bit. Did you notice him not being on the field?
No, not at all. I thought I saw him plenty.
Yeah.
I saw him in Chop.
Ohio State, Michigan, Iowa. He was on the field.
Yeah.
I'm looking up the splits. I'm trying to find the splits really quickly.
No, I don't think I missed them.
I don't think he missed any time due to injury.
No.
Let's see.
It's always a rotation up front, so maybe he come off the field sometimes up front.
Yeah. I'm trying to see if I can
he was on the field with Chop together. They were both on the field at the same time.
That counts.
Usually on the opposite side of each other, but yeah, they were.
Yeah, he was mostly on the right side, the left side of the offense, and Chop was on the other side, more the blind side.
Yeah, predominantly outside the tackle, to your point, Hadley, and 400 snaps this past season. So, pretty consistently. Pretty consistently. All right. We move into your top 5, and you guys are actually synced up 1 through 5 here. All right.
Nice.
So a bit of volatility between 6 and 15. Of course, you guys had the same player at 8 with Gabriel Murphy, but 1 through 5, you guys are in lockstep. So with the 5th ranked edge rusher here in the 2024 NFL draft, you have the aforementioned Chop Robinson. Let's start right there, Headley.
Yeah, Chop he's improved so much from 2023 to 2022. He's kind of a part-time player in 2022. Didn't see as much snaps as he did in 2023. I know he dealt with an injury for a little bit in 2023, but man, he's gotten so much better, man. He fires off the snap ferociously, violence, ability to bend the edge. He can contort his body around the edge. I love how he uses his hands effectively. That push-pull technique, he's able to disengage with that technique. The rips, the violence with the rips, he could do that. Very twitchy, and it's evident on every play. You see his twitchiness on every play. I love when they put him over the guard, kind of like what they did with Gabriel Murphy at UCLA. They line him up in that A gap right there. That Micah Parsons, Myles Garrett, they both do it in the league right now. And he must have been watching the tape of his Penn State counterpart right there, because he does a lot of the same thing Micah Parsons is doing in Dallas right now. And he's just too quick for those interior offensive linemen. And he's putting it all together right now. I thought, from 2022 to 2023, he improved his hand usage. He always had the speed and the bend and the hunting ability, but the hands I thought really improved in 2023. In the run game, I don't think he's chumped there. I think he kind of holds up in the run game a little bit. I think the issue with him in the run game sometimes is he fires off the edge so quickly and open up cutback lanes for the running backs. So you got to be more cognizant of that, man. Like you said, you can't be too selfish all the time trying to get to the quarterback. You got to know down and distance and what teams are trying to do in certain situations, just to smarten up a little bit, because they could trick you on a draw play, on a counter play, and you could be hurt your defense that way. So I think that's what he needs to improve as a run defender. But other than that, man, I think he's one of the best pass rushers in the class, best pure pass rushers in the class, because he gets after it there. Who's your boy from Iowa State last year? Went to the Jets?
McDonald.
Will McDonald. I think he's a better player than Will McDonald. I mean, Will McDonald's a first-round guy, and I like Chop over him. And, he was one of those guys, too, that was pretty much one of the best pure pass rushers in that class. So I like Chop better against the run than Will McDonald. Will McDonald, I thought, his run game was where he kind of was not the best, but I thought Chop, he holds up well against the run. It's just can't be too selfish, man, and be in your lane. So love Chop Robinson here at Edge 5.
I thought the development, to your point, Headley, from 2022 to 23 was big. I wasn't a big fan. Just wasn't a big fan during summer scouting. But the progress that he made this season, certainly I got on board. I understood what people were seeing, or what they knew was there that he just hadn't necessarily tapped into just yet. Your thoughts on Chop Robinson, Drew?
Yeah, I remember the summer scouting we were talking about. We just didn't get it. Like I don't know what the big, because they were talking about he was possibly pass rusher 1. You know how people
top 15, top 20 guy, bro. Like that's
yeah. Like
I don't see it, but
like
I kind of get it.
It's one of those, how when you get that 4-star recruit, everybody's been talking about him since he's entered school, and right. So you want to see him, bust that grape, if you will, and we're gonna keep pushing him until he actually does. And in this case, he did it this year, right? In terms of kind of putting it all together. He is that quick twitch athlete, burst off the edge, hard to contain at times, hard to kind of off the tackle. Is hard for them boys to get to their spot because he's moving so fast, so quick. As Helly would say, quick, fast, in a hurry, right off the snap. And then if you're able to get your hands on him, okay, well, that's all cool and dandy, fine and dandy. But I got these hands that I could hit you with the Aaron Donald, if you will, in terms of keeping those hands off of me or putting them in a place where it's at a disadvantage for the offensive lineman, and he's able to do that consistently, man. And he's a guy who sets offensive linemen up, routinely, whether it be in the run or the pass. I think in the run game, he doesn't get the penetration I think that you want, but he holds up. And I guess you know, especially off the edge, you don't necessarily have to get that penetration. You just got to hold and hold long enough, even for your help to get there if you're not able to make the play. And I think he does that. And then, you can get cute, throw him on the inside. This is a guy I actually like playing on the inside versus Murphy, who I'm not necessarily a fan of, because I think he can hold up in the interior, unlike Murphy. But again, he's going to win with that first step. Or those quick hands, or a combination of those two things, beating the guard, the center, across their face to make plays in the backfield. So,
yeah, I think that obviously the explosiveness off the snap is, I mean, that goes without saying. But and of course you kind of just think about it in the grand scheme of things, and it's not a big deal. The way he flattens out, bro, and it shortens the distance from the apex of his rush. Right. And again, shortening that distance to the quarterback is very impressive. The way, especially because he's so explosive, you might think, okay, he kind of widens out and he's trying to plant. And no, man, he puts his foot in the ground and gets, I mean, like I'm telling you, really closes that space in a hurry, really limits that space in terms of what the tackle has in order to ultimately get their hands on him. So, yeah, I've been impressed with Chop Robinson's development, certainly. Edge number 4, Darius Robinson. We talked about him quite a bit coming out of Mobile. And, of course, there's a lot to like. You see the C on his chest. He's a leader. He's a tone setter, man. But let's talk about his skills, Drew.
Yeah, that boy violent. You can't miss him on tape. He played all over the line of scrimmage, from defensive tackle to edge. I think I think his first 2 years he played defensive tackle, and then he got pushed out the edge this past year. I think he can do it all. I think this is the type of guy that, you play him outside on early downs, inside on late downs, because of his ability to use his speed to power to get that penetration on the inside, and then on the outside he's got good hands to keep offensive linemen off him. I think he has some moves that he can work in off the edge to apply the pressure from the edge. I know Juice had, he's what you call buttoned up all the way in terms of his he's different in terms of his mindset. A lot of guys who you're looking forward to getting that money and helping out their family. Like this is a guy who obviously that's kind of par for the course in terms of helping out your family. But this man's talking about he's got a foundation, and like he's just different, man. His mindset is different. It's not just going to be about football for him and making the money. It's about helping people, and that just kind of speaks to his maturity and kind of where he sees things. But the fact that he can play pretty much anywhere on that defensive line and play in a 3-4-4-3 scheme, he's gained the weight, he's lost the weight, so that it speaks to his, hey, what do you need me to do? Because I'm here to do whatever it is that you want me to do, right? I think his best position though is probably that 4-eye.
So that's his favorite position.
and
that's the thing. Like this, as buttoned up as he is, as mature as he is, he's not a choir boy, right? He plays with a certain level of dog and physicality that you're looking for. Your thoughts on him, Headley?
Yeah, Drew said it, man. He said a lot, and I agree with everything Drew said. He's buttoned up, 4-eye, 5, 7, 3. He could play it all. And I was watching the tape on Drain and Rakestraw, the corners from Missouri, and I was like, who is 6? Like 6 keeps making play. 8 and 6, Hopper and Robinson, number 6. They just kept on making play after play. This is before the Senior Bowl, and I'm like, I wish I would have jumped on him a lot earlier in the Super Bowl because I noticed him, but I just didn't say it to the masses. And, once the Senior Bowl came, it was just like, now he's a household name, first-round pick guy. And it makes sense, man, because he offers a lot of versatility inside and outside. If you look at a guy, Cam Jordan for the Saints, he matches up with him really well to be an outside or inside penetrator. Like I said, big riser from the Senior Bowl. He disengages very well. That hand placement, utilizes it really well. That swim move, I think he has one of the best swim moves in the entire class, and he just kept on going to it over and over. It's like a chop and then the swim off of the chop, and it was like, why can't nobody stop this? It's like he just goes to it and he beats those offensive linemen every time with that swim move. He has a good burst from the snap, very speed to power element. He has that, utilizes his hands very well, always coming to battle on every play. He's just going to be a handful to deal with for 60 minutes. I don't think offensive linemen, when it's get to the third and fourth quarter, they're gonna be like, "You again?" I like, go on the other side, bro. Like, I don't want to deal with you anymore. And I think that's the kind of intensity that he brings snap to snap. He has a very strong lower half as well. You can take on 2 blocks and open it up for the guys on the second level to make plays. Very unselfish. So, we talked about some guys that may be a little selfish as an edge rusher. This guy's kind of the opposite of that. Very unselfish. Wants to open it up for his rest of his teammates. Like I said, he's a power edge with power hands, can disengage, get to the quarterback, very active, and he keeps fighting all the way to the quarterback. It's just a lot to like about Darius Robinson. I think he's a first-round guy. Some people say he might fall out. So whoever gets him in the second round is a steal, man. Atlanta Falcons, hopefully we don't lose that second-round pick because I would love Darius Robinson in Atlanta.
Yeah, he and Brandon Dorless are kind of the misnomers in terms of how the masses view them, right? They hear edge associated with Robinson and think, oh, bendy, twitchy, but he doesn't necessarily play that well. We don't like that. We don't like that. In fact, there was a mock draft where I think we selected him to the Eagles, and they're like, well, we have a bunch of edge rushers, stand up outside lineman. And I'm like, no, he's a down lineman in your defense. He's a 5 technique in your defense. You mentioned 4-eye and him being unselfish. That is the epitome of unselfish. 4-eye is the epitome of being unselfish along the defensive line. There's no selfishness associated with playing in that particular alignment. So yeah, Darius Robinson certainly is a big time riser, and it'll be interesting to see whether or not a team takes him. And I think the sweet spot personally is Detroit. I think he just from on the field and off the field, I think he's the perfect fit in Detroit. So if he gets past them, then maybe Baltimore. I think Baltimore could be in the market. You know what I mean? But certainly there's some teams there late in the first round I think would be willing to opt for Darius Robinson. Bills as well. Yeah, for sure. Yeah, a playoff team. I think he ends up on a playoff team for sure. All right. Edge number 3, checking in. Here is Dallas Turner Headley, Alabama.
Yeah, Turner, man. This is your guy, right, Juice? Big Dallas Turner guy. From the tape from 2022 to 23, I thought he's another guy that improved in 2023. I like his speed to power. He disengages from block once he's close to the quarterback. The closing ability. That's kind of what stands out to me mostly about Dallas Turner. He's just a quarterback hunter, and he gets there really quickly. Nice quick twitch inside move as well, kind of out leverages the tackle. So if you want to overset and get to the outside, Turner can come back and beat you inside. He's a long linear athlete. He can stand up in the passing game. He's the guy that could drop into coverage. I think he's one of the better edge guys that could drop into coverage and be comfortable out there. We saw what he did at the combine with that speed, 4.4 speed guy. If he beats a tackle around the edge, and the quarterback doesn't step up, it's night. It's over because he's going to hunt and he's going to get that quarterback to the ground. Very long arms to get the hands on the quarterback. So that tackle radius really shows up with Dallas Turner because of his long arms. What stands out the most is, like I said, the closing in space. And he makes plays others might not be able to get to at the edge. And he gets to it, man. So, you see him chasing sideline to sideline with his hair on fire. He's fluid in space, like I said, to drop back in coverage. And one step to him is like 2 or 3 to other guys, man. Just that he just it's that Jamal's charge at the running back position, man. It just covers a lot of ground with that first step. And he has that combination of length and agility to get himself into the backfield. And I thought, like I said, from 2022, I thought he improved a lot. I think he put on a little weight to add more power to his game. And the hand technique, I thought he got a little bit better there as well. So, he's developing because last season I was like, he needs to develop a more secondary, tertiary move. And I think his best football is ahead of him at the next level. And right now he's my edge 3. The other 2 guys I think are just technically a little bit better than him
players
right now.
They're better players right now.
Better players right now. And Dallas Turner has a huge upside.
Yeah, for sure.
Yeah, going into summer scouting and watching him, this is another guy where they're kind of pushing him. I think coming off of oh my God, I forgot his name.
Will Anderson.
Yeah, coming off of a Will Anderson and going to a Dallas Turner, they win differently. So it's a little bit it's a little bit hard to come off of what Will Anderson is, then run over here to Dallas Turner, and people are trying to tell you, hey, this is guy's edge 1 or edge 2, and you're looking like, I mean, he's really good at power rushing, really good with the bull rush. Like, if he wins with that, he's gonna be a beast, right? But you're not gonna be able to do that to every tackle, every guard in the league. It's not happening, right? So the thought was, okay, can he develop into, what else can he do outside of that? I think initially, like Headley had said, even going into summer scouting, I thought he is excellent at dropping back into coverage. So I think that is something that he does very, very well. And he's where he's supposed to be when those things happen. Even sometimes he's not where he's supposed to be, but he's in the right spot because he's got those instincts when he is dropping back into coverage, or maybe he's studied the tape so he knows where he's supposed to be. But in terms of the pass rush going into this season, the biggest thing is you got to develop more route moves. It's not going to be, you can't just bull rush everybody. That's just not going to happen. And early on in the season, he didn't. But as the season went on, I thought he started to progress into a more polished pass rusher in terms of developing in those moves and adding a swim move in there. I still didn't see the spin, but added a swim move in there. Has developed to work on an inside move to beat guys on the inside. I think that he's kind of using that his speed to power to kind of get around and down that line to beat the offensive lineman versus just using power. I think he's added some pace to his game to throw off. Because I think if you have power, I think you have to have a pace to your pass rush. I think it can't always just be the same thing over and over. There's got to be that kind of lull a guy to sleep and then hit him with your power, that speed to power real quick. And I think he's developed that. I think he does close very, very quickly, especially when he sees that that meal, that quarterback, you know what I'm saying? And he's beat his guy. He can close down that space very, very quickly. And he does have that tackle range. Like Ellie was saying, he can make plays that other people can't quick, fast, and in a hurry.
Yeah, Hadley, this is 5-star from St. Thomas, bro.
Yeah,
bro.
St. Thomas.
Yeah, he just scratching, bro. He just the surface, just the surface. Now, when we talk about potential, guys don't always reach it. They don't always reach their potential, right? So I think coaching matters. I think absolutely coaching matters. But I mean, he played in every game as a true freshman, right? Started 10 of 13 as a true sophomore, and then of course swan song here his junior year. I just like the development year to year. It's getting better. It's getting better. You got all the talent. You got all this big time athlete. We're talking about 4'4", 40-inch vertical, explosive broad. It's all there, bro. It's all there, bro. And like and Helly said it, his best football is ahead of him. That's why I got him at edge 2, personally. I think the upside is just tremendous. And I like I said, the development that I've seen thus far. Speaking of edge 2, you guys are in agreement. Jared Verse is edge 2. And Drew, why don't you start here with Verse?
Well, you don't want Headley to.
No. I'm gonna give Headley the floor.
I'm gonna finish it, right?
And the last word on Jared Verse.
Okay. Jared Verse has that burst that you want off the edge. He's a guy who I think I talked about this earlier in terms of making plays when they need to be made. This is a guy who may not make a play all game, come down to that third down, that fourth down, and this is the guy who's going to strip the running back, who's going to turn the corner, rush the quarterback into a throw they necessarily don't want to make, get them off their spot, or just outright get the snap, man, or get the sack, man. He is we need to find a word for this, man, but he's timely and it's consistent and it's often. And I think that's an attribute that is missed in terms of defensive players that make plays when plays need to be made. And I think this is probably, to me, maybe his number one attribute, because he just shows up when it's time to show up, man. I think he has some ability to drop into coverage, but I don't think I'm doing that with him. I don't think I want to get cute. I think this is a guy I want to consistently see at the line of scrimmage, coming off of the edge, applying that speed to power game that he has. I think he has some. I think I want him to develop a couple of more moves. Don't necessarily think I've seen a spin from him there. Don't necessarily think I've seen a swim from him there. I think he holds up well in the run game. I think initially, I think it was this year we were comparing him to, what's your boy that came out last year? What's his name?
Jermaine Johnson.
Jermaine Johnson. Yeah, initially, kind of comparing those two. I think Versus the better player. Where'd he come from? I don't want to butcher it. What was the school he came
from? Albany.
Okay, I got killed in the short that I made, but that's okay. Don't want to mess it up, man. But yeah, that's why I got Jared Verse at edge 2.
Yeah, big Verse. Verse put him in the hearse. I like that, Scotty Joe.
Here we go.
I like that, man, because that's what he do. That's what he do, man. He put him in the hearse. But yeah, man, this guy, like you said, he came from Albany. That's New York, right? And he was a tight end originally. And then he put on like 40 pounds of muscle during the pandemic. And now he's the edge. And now he's dominating. So that speaks to his work ethic. That speaks to a lot of guys in the pandemic. They ate. They got bigger. Not muscular bigger, but they put on some weight, man. And Verse put in the work. He put in the work. He transferred from Albany and did it at a higher level of competition than Florida State. Man, burst on the scene in that LSU game. Like, number 5, like, I didn't even know about him. I'm a State guy, and I'm like, what? Like, who did we just acquire right here, bro? And, that was a big-time transfer portal to get Florida State, and he turned speed into power effectively. He has top-notch first step and closing ability. So he comes off the line quickly, and then he can close to the quarterback, and he gives offensive tackles hell because, okay, I'm gearing up for this guy to come around the edge. And then now, okay, I get pushed in the chest with that speed to power on the way to the quarterback. It's like what do I do against that? Like, do I, overset, try to get him around the edge? And if I do, he's just going to beat me with power up the through my chest. So he just held the deal with all the time. I think he utilized his hands very well. And like Drew said, man, in the big moments, he just have a knack for turning it up when it matters the most. Big players perform biggest, at the big moments, and Jared Verse does that time in and time out. Started off the season a little slow this season, and he just picked it up. He just got better and better and got more production as the season went along. I thought him and Fisk worked really well off of each other with games up front, the stunts, the TE stunts. Like they did it effortlessly. It was like old school Aldon Smith and the other Smith, man. Justin Smith for the Smith brothers for the 49ers, man. Verson and Fisk did that really well.
You're gonna give Mr. C PTSD right there, bro. Don't do that.
Oh yeah, old Seattle times. Yeah, man. He's aware in the run game as well, in the zone read game. Like Drew said, he could fall back in coverage, but we really don't want to see him doing that. We want to see him hunting, getting after the quarterback. Yeah, man. There's a lot to like about him. Twitchy, compact. He's just a threat, man. He's a big time threat as the edge rusher. I couldn't put turnover above him because just what he gives you from speed and power over Dallas Turner.
My only reservation, well, there's two things, two reservations with Verse, because I agree with the vast majority of what you both said about him. And it's really impressive how polished he is, considering he hasn't been playing that position all that long, right? He hasn't necessarily been asked to rush the passer for the balance of his football career. So very impressive. I don't think he's quite as good in the run game as perhaps you guys may have alluded to. I think he can get blown out of there at times. I think when he sets his mind to it, he can be very good against the run. But there's a part of him that wants to be a pass rusher, right? And I get that. He's an edge. He's an effective pass rusher. That's how he impacts the game most of all. I think if he approached run defense with the same conviction that he does pass rushing, he could push our top edge guy. He could be considered the top edge in this class. He's on a short list in terms of best defensive players in this class already. So I think that may be part of the difference there for me. The other thing was, what was it? It was, and this is not a detractor. This is just to speak to what he faced with this particular year. So 2022, he comes out gangbusters, makes a name for himself in that primetime game against LSU, and carries that momentum throughout the year. Even when he got hurt, he was still effective. They used him just on passing downs. He was still able to impact the games in limited snaps because he was dealing with an injury. This year, 2023, he didn't surprise anybody. And I think that was part of the reason why there was a bit of a slow roll up, but he countered that, right? And then, of course, he and Fisk, as you mentioned, started to play off of one another, and they found what worked. So there's going to be that at the next level. You're going to have to adjust to the adjustment. You understand what I'm saying? You're not going to. I mean, he was a no name out of Albany for most of us, right? I'm sure that obviously the Seminole coaches knew what they were getting, right? But he didn't surprise anybody in 2023. When he goes to the next level, he might have some early success, and then there'll be an adjustment, and he's going to have to figure out what that counter is to the adjustment that offensive makes. So that's something to just keep an eye on moving forward. That takes us to edge number one. Hold on. That's okay. We can bring up Vernon Davis getting smashed. Or Sherman locking up Crabtree. Yeah, I mean, that was a good rivalry, bro. Very good rivalry. I'd like to see it return to that level of disdain for one another. Edge number one, Latu, and incidentally, the top defensive prospect in this class, according to CPGM. Headley, start us off, man.
Yeah, I just want to start off by saying this is my guy.
Nah.
See?
No. I'm not letting you do it. I'm not letting you do it. And I'm gonna make sure I publish it because I got receipts too. I went back further. I went back further than you did. So I'm not gonna let you do it, bro. I'm not gonna let you do it.
You don't remember me coming on this broadcast and it was like 15 from UCLA. That's a guy.
How does that make you your guy though? By simply saying it. So Drew said the same thing about Neighbors. He said the same thing about Neighbors, bro. He mentioned Neighbors. So by saying Neighbors, by mentioning your name first, he's your guy. That's how that works.
We identified
we've already established that that's not the case.
Multiple times.
Established that, bro.
Multiple times.
And
bro.
I actually went back to your top 10 prospects, Drew. Your top 10 prospects going into this season. You know who wasn't in your top 10 prospects, bro? Malik Neighbors, bro. Come on, man.
So hold on.
He wasn't in your top 10?
I don't know.
You don't know that? All right. I'm gonna bring the receipts out. As a matter of fact, Scotty Joe mentioned making a blooper reel of Drew. I'm gonna do a compilation of our best moments through this 2024 cycle. So be on the lookout for that. That's coming. All right, Headley, go ahead.
Yeah, let's get to Latu, man.
Your guy, Latu, bro.
Yeah, I brought him up in the live. I was like 15 for UCLA. He's not on the depth chart. I don't even know this guy's name, but he was so dominant when I watched him. I was like, who is this guy? He came out of nowhere. He had a 2-year hiatus from football, that neck injury. And, I think that was a box he had to check. And I thought he checked it at the combine. I didn't see anything come back on his medicals. So once he checked that box, and also some people questioned the athleticism with Latu. And I thought he checked that box also at the combine. He moved really well in space, ran a 4.640 for his size. I thought that was really well also. So I think he checked both those boxes. And because those are the only two things you can say about Latu. Because as a pass rusher, he's advanced beyond his years. The way he uses his hands, to disengage, to counter for your counters. That's Latu all day. Long, lengthy edge, really good tackle radius. I like how he utilizes his hand to gain an advantage at the point of contact. He also has speed to power. His hands, his strength to push linemen back to the quarterback. He does have the agility to bend and contort his way to the ball carrier. Very disruptive due to his twitch. And, he's only a 32-inch arms guy, but might as well say he's 35 inches, bro, because the way he utilizes it, it doesn't matter, man. I know, I think Mr. C brought it up, like, a couple inches isn't that much of a big thing. It is, unless you're Latu. Incredible. He can set him up at the edge. You can put his hand in the ground. They use him even sometimes as an off-the-ball linebacker in space. Like, I wouldn't want to get too cute with him. I want him going forward, getting to the quarterback, because he explodes from the snap, violent hands. Hand counters. I think he does well in the run game as well, due to his strength and his competitiveness. So there's a lot to like about Latu. He's coming in like a 5-year vet already. Just how he uses his hands. You could think of guys like Nick Bosa in the past, another guy that used his hands really well. So if you want to make a comp, I think that could be a good one there. I think Bosa's a little bigger than him, but I think Latu is just a more quicker than Bosa. So. Yeah, man, he's our edge one. All of our guys now, so I guess I got to share him with the world, and that's fine, man. As long as the world knows, bro, this is edge one. Latu.
Yo, you got to share him with the world, bro.
Hey, but on some real though, there's still people doubting Latu, bro, and I don't get it, bro. I don't get it,
bro. It's because he's not Sparky, bro.
But he is though. Right? It's because it's one of those things where he doesn't necessarily he doesn't necessarily demonstrate overwhelming physicality on the field, right? He wins a different way. The way that allows you to win for 10 to 12 years. You understand what I'm saying? That's the way he wins. But when he did his testing, he checked the boxes, bro. You understand what I'm saying? I'm not saying that he's a 4.5 guy, but he's a very good athlete. You understand what I'm saying? Not a freak athlete. So I don't get it, man.
The chat's pushing back right now. Some people saying they got burst and
No, I get that. I get that, but I disagree with it wholeheartedly. As big of a fan as I am of Turner, I disagree with it. I disagree. Nobody is ready to make a bigger impact day one than Latu. And you can, again, I think it's because of the way he wins. It's not with overwhelming physicality or athletic speed traits, whatever the case may be. People are like, well, where's the bull rush, right? Think about Jared Allen. Think about the guys who consistently won for years on end without necessarily demonstrating otherworldly athleticism. those guys. There's plenty of examples of it. You know what I'm
TJ
saying?
Watt.
So I don't understand. It doesn't make sense to me. It doesn't make sense to me.
You know, part of the issue is that if he was in a scheme where he just sat there and rushed the passer, he probably would have racked up sack after sack after sack, hurry after hurry after hurry. Like, his production would have been off the charts. That's not the way UCLA used him. That's not the way they used the Murphy brothers. So that takes away from, looking in the box score and saying, damn, because had he been up there with the Javon Solomons of the world, the Kamaras of the world, Muhammad Kamara of the world, of the production, this is probably a completely different conversation.
You're right about
that. But he had 13 sacks, Drew. He had
no, no. It's not 16? Enough, bro. Yeah, you need 16, bro. He had to touch them. He had to touch where those guys were at, bro. I'm telling you, bro. And then you throw in the medicals, because when you turn on the tape, bro, he got better hands than receivers, bro.
Yeah.
Like, it's crazy what this guy was doing with them hands, bro. And he's not screaming off the edge. Like, I'm just beating you with hands, bro. You want to throw hands? Okay, I don't think you want to throw it with me. And it was just consistent, bro. And it was smooth. And you know what, too, bro? You know how we talk about certain players? I think the last player we talked about this was Breece Hall, in terms of people weren't giving him his due because it's so smooth.
Effortless.
And effortless.
It's not demonstrative. It's not demonstrative,
his
bro.
Credit. Like,
exactly.
And I'm telling you, in the league, people are gonna be like, "Damn, how did I not get this guy his love? Like, how did I miss this?" I'm telling you, bro. And he can do the outside linebacker 3-4 outside linebacker thing. He can do that, bro. But I don't know that I want him doing any of that, bro. We can get cued a couple different times, especially if you have a rotation in terms of that part of your defense. I think you could set him up to drop back into coverage and be in the lanes and get himself a pick or knock a pass down. But I want this dude rushing the passer every play, as much as I can have him rushing the passer, and he's strong enough and smart enough to hold up in the run game, bro. But
that pass rush win rate is not an accident, bro.
It's
not an accident.
Crazy.
It's not an accident, bro. It really isn't. And you know what? The part of this game that gets no attention, that I think is actually better than Jared Verse, is his run defense. He's a better run defender than Jared Verse. Now, shout out J2K listening in. I appreciate you chiming in. I think Turner's ceiling is immense. I think it's immense. I don't think it's demonstrably higher than Latu's, though.
I think they're comparable.
Right?
They're comparable. Yeah.
I don't. And of course, Latu has a higher floor. You understand what I'm saying? So yeah, man, I'm good with Turner as my edge too. I certainly can understand why someone would have Verse as edge two, maybe even edge one, right? But for me, it's Latu, and like I said, and we're all in agreement here. Latu's not just our top edge; he's the top defensive player in this draft. It's a top defensive player in this draft. I think if you're gonna detract from Latu's game, it has to be the medicals. Otherwise, I'm not. He's ready to go. He's ready to go.
I want everybody to mark the tape, all right? Because this is the type of guy that I think that will win so much, to the point where, and I'm not talking about in terms of sacks. I think he's the type of player that will win and cause so much disruption that he's gonna turn the football over. He's gonna force the offense to do things they don't want to do. And he's going to have the quarterback throwing them picks, throwing it into places he don't want to throw it into, holding on to the football a little bit longer. Maybe somebody else cleans up where Latu misses. But I'm telling you, this dude, he's something else. I'm trying to tell you. Mark the tape.
The teams that prefer, they prioritize the athletic testing at given positions, edge, whatever the case may be. They're going to lean Dallas Turner. He's a younger player, cleaner bill of health, right? A lot of pedigree coming out of high school. Again, the things that they ask you to do at Alabama doesn't necessarily allow you to always rack up huge counting stats, right? And of course, he can drop back into coverage, not unlike Latu. But just the technical refinement.
Mm-hmm.
This is what guys are always. This is what all the players are striving for at the next level, right? Because everybody is a good athlete. By and large, everybody's a good athlete at the next level. There's some guys who are superior athletes, but by and large, everybody's a good athlete at the next level. The difference is the technical aspect of it, and he's lapping the field. It's not even close. You understand what I'm saying? And he hasn't played it down in the NFL yet. He's going to get NFL coaching now. Like, yeah, man, yeah. So I'm all in. I'm all in. I like the top 3 guys a lot. I actually like the top 5 quite a bit.
Yeah, top 5.
Actually, it's a really good top 5. It's a pretty good edge class in general, right? It gets a little thin after the 3rd round. I think it gets a little thin. You got to kind of pick and choose. You know, you get into the Mo Kamara, Solomons, who have some things that you like about them, but maybe not necessarily every down guys out the gate. But the top of this draft at the edge position is nice. Whatever order you have them in is really nice. So I just don't want to see, or rather, if Latu falls into the 20s, ends up with the Bucks or some nonsense like that, bro. There's going to be a lot of revisionist history, bro. There's going to be a lot of revisionist history around that. Yeah, that's one thing. One of the few things that I feel very strongly about in this class is the success that he's going to have at the next level, assuming he stays healthy. All right, folks. It's been quite the ride, almost 4 hours here, and we got plenty of warm up going into these draft streams. We're going to be streaming live, giving you live reactions during the first round as well as day 2. The plan is to also be on air for day 3, but we're gonna play that one by ear. So we will see you guys. Thursday night. Come join us, check in on us. We'll be giving our immediate reaction to what transpires, also going over more of our analysis associated with these players. So looking forward to that. For Drew, Headley, this is Juice. We'll see you Thursday night.
Draft time.